What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Running Gold Standard podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts Matt Llewellyn and Mike Andrews of Nothing But Niners. Apologies for the late start. We had some technical issues on our end, but we are all good to go. We're going to have a little bit of a different show. We're not going to be recapping the game, snap by snap, drive by drive. I don't think any of us want to relive that. We're going to play Kyle's press conference, react to it, give our thoughts on it, and then kind of share our thoughts on where we think this season is going. 49ers are currently sitting at 3-4 in week 7. Get your guys' thoughts on where you guys think the season is going, and we'll see how we all feel after that nice kumbaya. Before we get started, though, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit like and subscribe to both channels, 49ers Hive and Nothing But Niners. If you're watching on X, make sure you like and repost the stream. All of our handles for X are on the screen. Make sure you're following all of us, including Nothing But Niners, which is Nothing But 9 ERS, and 49ers Hive and RGS Pod. Now that I got that out of the way, Matt, how you doing this evening? I know how you're doing, but
I mean, you know what? Honestly, like I'm good, man. I'm all right. I am all right. There's something about some of the death of Super Bowl expectations that's a little bit freeing, at least for the short term. This is a game that I watched, and it's probably one of the. I mean, this was a throwback to the post Harbaugh era 49ers. I think this was one of the worst overall games that the 49ers offense has played since then. It is what it is. You move on. And I think that, again, this is one of those games where everybody was saying before the game, it's just like, you want them to win or whatever. Any rational person was saying, and we all said it here too. If you had to pick one of the games for the 49ers to lose, right, which one would it be? We all said this game rather than the Cowboys game next week because we knew what it meant. Kansas City, 2-time defending Super Bowl champions, top 3 defense, you know what I mean? So it's kind of where you look at the game and you see just everything stack on top of each other and it's not going to be your day. You just, it's calming to get those expectations out of the way. So now I can just sit and watch the team and not have to be nervous about if they don't do this, then we're not going to the Super Bowl. I'm fully aware of the fact they're probably not going to the Super Bowl and I'm okay with that. So I'm not as doom and gloom as some people, and I'm definitely not going to take a victory lap on people today that people seem to want to do. So
Gotcha. What very well said, Mike. How you doing this evening? You're muted.
I'm actually very well, guys. This was a game that I know you guys remember. I expected us to lose, and I said, hey, if we end up winning, then cool. I'll pick us to lose going out. That way, it'll be like a little reverse psychology. But there was nothing that suggested or showed that the Niners were ready to beat the Chiefs that we had just lost to, 8 games ago. While we all hoped that it happened, there was nothing to suggest that we improved anywhere. We've been struggling this year against, mediocre and bad teams. There was nothing to suggest that we should have expected to come in here and win this one. So it didn't really upset me too much. I was very disappointed with how the game looked, nonetheless. But nothing too crazy. We'll break it all down. But again, if this is the worst that my week is, it's a great, great week. Football is football, but real life is great. So I'm happy.
Yeah. Obviously, we'll get into the injury. Brandon Ayuk suffered what appears to be a pretty devastating knee injury. But that's the worst of it for me coming out of today. I would have been fine if they just got whooped. But on top of that, Ayuk likely out for the year. We got a super chat from our guy, Great Fox 198. Thank you very much, Great Fox. Tank, let everyone heal and reload for 2025. Also, there has to be some pressure on Shanahan from York. I feel like he's way too comfortable here. Chiefs are decimated, and they find ways to move the ball. Reid is very creative. Both offenses could not operate versus press man coverage, yet the Chiefs still found a way to consistently get down the field and get points. I don't know, man. Maybe there will be some pressure. We'll talk about that after we get the press conference where we think the 49ers stand as an organization. So we'll save that conversation for a little bit. But thank you very much, Great Fox. Appreciate your contribution.
Yeah.
Let's get right into this press conference, Matt, unless you had anything to add.
No, I just want to say just one rebuttal to Mike's point that I actually think Mike would agree with me on. The 49ers have not played good against mediocre teams, but guess what? I think the 6-0 Kansas City Chiefs is one of the most mediocre teams I've ever seen. Yeah. Their defense is excellent, but Mahomes is fucking dog water this year.
He's really bad.
He's bad this year.
And it's funny, I saw that.
Sorry, we didn't make it 8 minutes. My bad on that one.
Ari Myrov, or however you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
He posted, Mahomes in these, all these categories he's so low in, and the Chiefs are still 6-0. Imagine when he gets back to his MVP self. I think this is who he is. Honestly, I think this is the type of player he is without superstars around him.
His yards per completion. Yeah, his yards per completion have gone down every single year. They've been going down. Today he was 16 of 27, 154 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. Like, that's trash. Yeah. That's trash. Again, if Brock Purdy has a good game, then we're all talking about how the 49ers finally got to Mahomes, whatever. He didn't. So instead of looking at how bad Mahomes played and keeping context and saying, hey, both teams played good defense and there was a lot of turnovers and both quarterbacks played poorly, it's a referendum on Brock. And I just want to say right off rip, the amount of content creator that are alleged 49er fans or are covering the 49ers, you guys are not being objective. You guys could not wait to take this victory lap on Brock Purdy today. And I think it's pathetic, man. That's what bothers me the most, is that everybody wants to tear this kid down.
You don't think
it's not? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's cool. I just was going to say, you don't think that Brock deserves some criticism in this game?
Some criticism, yes, but people are saying oh, Brock is Jimmy Garoppolo, they shouldn't pay him. This just goes to show I was right about Brock Purdy being this limited guy. This is what happens when you got a guy that's not a great quarterback. They should go after it. And we saw it in, not to call out anybody specific, right? But somebody posted a video after the game that was just oh, Andy Reid in a class by himself. Patrick Mahomes shows he's in a class by himself. I'm like, did you watch the game? Patrick Mahomes played like dog shit. You know, you can't pay Brock if he's not going to play like Patrick Mahomes. And I'm like, he did play like Patrick Mahomes today. Yeah. They were both awful.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's when you go out of your way to target Brock Purdy. And when we talk about the mainstream media running down Brock Purdy and how we don't like it, and then you have the local people that as soon as he plays bad, they go to say how bad he is, and when he plays well, it's because he is surrounded by really good players. To me, you have an agenda, and you're just worried about being right and being on the cusp of something, and you're not being objective, because everything can be true, right? Brock Purdy can be a good player, which he has been for most of the season, and he could have played a really, really bad game, which he did today. Both of those things can be true. It seems personal with Purdy. That's my problem.
Well, so I saw this clip. I think I shared it with you guys. Maybe you guys even shared it with me. It was the first 27 games for Colin Kaepernick, the first 27 games for Jimmy Garoppolo, and the first 27 games for Brock Purdy. Have you guys seen this thing?
No, I don't think so.
It is eerily similar in this video thing, and they break it all down. I'll find it and send it to you guys. You guys can watch it later on or whatever. And it's a short little 2-minute thing, but they just make the comparisons. They both have very similar records. They both have very similar completion percentages and things like that. Yards, everything was so similar. Now we understand that Colin Kaepernick didn't even play with. Yeah,
nothing has nothing to do with any of that. That's coincidental, and that's statistics, and statistics to be manipulated. If you're doing unifactorial analysis on a team, single factor analysis on a team, and everything seems to be it's either Brock or it's Kyle. Those are the only two things that people place blame on, right? And sometimes Nick Sorensen if the defense plays bad. It's never this guy missed a block or this guy did this or this guy did that or as a team they did this or as a team they did that. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the defense on the whole I thought played a pretty good game. They got turnovers. They stopped they stopped Kansas City, in many, and then towards the middle of the game when it was clear the offense couldn't sustain drives, that's when you start to see more of the third down stuff. It was after that first stalled drive where they picked off Patrick Mahomes when Demo got the interception and Brock Purdy gave it back on that throw to Ronnie Bell. That's when you saw the Chiefs start to get more and more of the third down conversions, and they ended up 8 of 11. But until that point, and again, you're asking players to stay up on high the entire time. And when one phase of the ball is up on high because the defense came out on fire and the offense one side isn't keeping up their side of the coin, it's hard to keep that momentum and hard to keep that energy. So I don't blame the defense. What I will say is you have to understand that it's a team game, and laying the blame at the feet of this guy or that guy all the time. Every time the 49ers lose, it's Brock and Kyle. Every time the 49ers win, it's all the weapons that they have. Tell me I'm wrong. Point to a thing, because either you're all in like David Lombardi, and you're so deep down the throat of the team that like you're not objective.
Well, he's always been all in on every quarterback that the Niners have under center.
Or you're all out on every quarterback, and you
like
just
Grant.
can't wait to tear somebody down, like a Grant Cohn, like a Jesse Naylor,
So,
like a Rich Madrid, like a Javier Vega, like a Nick Newman. Now I'm naming names because I don't even give a fuck, dude, because these are people that cover the team locally and have some level of clout, and then they're not even objective. They just can't wait to do the victory lap. They have those fucking tweets already preloaded and can't wait to hit send.
And can't wait to hit send on them. I do think that the biggest difference today, and you well deserved, well timed, well deserved. I apologize. I should not have started speaking before that drop.
You're good.
I do think that the biggest difference, while both quarterbacks played like shit, Brock Purdy directly took at least 6 points off the board for the Niners with those turnovers already in field goal range. I don't know that Mahomes did that today. He did have 2 turnovers, but I don't know if they were
he took 7 points off the board by missing Xavier Worthy on a horrific overthrow when he was wide open.
Yeah.
So you can pick your spots, right? Like, and by the way, Patrick Mahomes, if you look at his stat line this season, it's really bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's it. That's all I had. I'm not gonna.
Also,
we'll
I want to add real quick. It's hilarious that I keep seeing too. If you go back since the Christmas game versus the Ravens, this is Purdy's stats. What the fuck's that have to do with that? It's like he didn't play a whole 2 seasons prior to that we have a film on it. Like
they picked the Ravens games. They picked the Ravens game because he threw 5 interceptions, 4 interceptions, whatever the fuck it was.
But
it's like, cherry picking.
Okay, how about the 3.5 seasons at this point that we have a film on this guy? Most of it has been very good to elite. Like it's top tier play. And just like you said, Matt, for some reason when they play, like if you would have told us this morning the 49ers are going to be without Deebo Samuel, we already know we're without Christian McCaffrey, and we already know we're without Llewellyn. We all would have been like, fuck, okay, it's going to be a very tall task for them to win this game. And then you lose Ayuk in the middle of that. You're like, fuck, how the hell are they going to do anything?
Yeah, in the first half, by the way, they lose Ayuk. So now you're playing a top 3 defense without your top 3 wide receivers, with an offensive line that everybody who is a fan knows is not built for them to, you got Ricky Pearsall, who hasn't had any game time, preseason or otherwise. And you have Jacob Cowing, who doesn't get a lot of run. You got Ronnie Bell, who most people think shouldn't be on the team. Juwan Jennings wasn't out there, right? The leading receiver was Kittle, and rightfully so, right? Like he had 6 catches for 92 yards, but beyond that, it was Cowing with 2 for 50, and he had the deep bomb from Purdy. And this is where I say people pick on Purdy. They'll choose moments to pick on Purdy or cherry pick, and it's just like, oh, Purdy underthrew that pass to Cowing. That's a walk-in touchdown otherwise, and it's like, yeah, that's true, but like go out there and try to throw a ball 50 yards, like under pressure and whatever else, Like it's again, you lose some steam off the ball when you're throwing off your back foot because you're getting pressured, and the pass was complete. So it's always like something, right? It's like see the perfect example. This shit right here, as if like his intention was to underthrow it and then throw interceptions. It's the same people that'd be like, the 49ers should fucking run the ball, and then when they can't run the ball, they're like, why didn't they fucking pass it there? Some people will just never be happy, because this fan base has become very entitled, and it's you've gotten used to a certain level of success, and anything under that is not good enough for you. And all of a sudden, it's all or nothing proposition, right? You're either like on top of the world or you're fucking trash. There's no in between. There's no shades of gray, and that's the society we live in now, and that's perfectly fine. But I'd rather have a sustainable model where the team can be competitive, because again, you're looking at a lot. How many injuries have the 49ers had? Right? These same people shitting on them today, if they beat Dallas, go into the bye week, Christian McCaffrey comes back and they go on the run, are going to be like, I knew this team was fucking good the whole time. And it's like, I just can't sometimes.
You're muted, Mike. Nope, can't hear you. While you get that situated, I want to address this from Will. Stop with the excuse on injuries. Chiefs didn't have their top 2 receivers. They didn't have them going into today. And they did lose Juju pretty early on.
There we go.
But it's
Juju is not one of their top 2 wide receivers, though.
And to be fair, the 49ers game plan to have Deebo and obviously game plan to have Ayuk. And they,
Deebo lasted 3 plays
and then goes out. Ayuk gets hurt in like the second quarter. And then you're going in there with, like Matt said, Ricky Pearsall, who's never played NFL snaps before.
No.
Your rookie, Jacob Cowing.
Yep.
Chris Conley, who's a vet and is solid, but he's not going to beat anybody. He's not going to have a 10-catch, 125-yard game. And you have Kittle, who they are consistently blanketing. So it's like it changed a lot of the 49ers game plan, in my opinion.
And the funny thing is people want Kyle Shanahan to scheme against like Spagnuolo defenses and shit like that. And it's just like they play a lot of man-to-man. How do you scheme a wide receiver to run himself open against man-to-man? They either do it or they don't.
Right.
And you could try to help them as best you can, but in the end, they have to run the routes.
And to be fair, the Chiefs weren't getting men open either. They were, trick plays or throwbacks across the middle at the very last second. Those were kind of the majority of their plays, passing-wise.
Yeah.
They missed Worthy deep down the field. Mike, I had to cut you off, though. Did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I pushed a button over here. My bad. So I just want to be completely clear with you guys. The cycle that we're in right now with 49er fans isn't going to change anytime soon. I'm going to tell you.
Oh, I know. I'm
Kyle's
well aware.
Kyle's not going anywhere for one simple reason. The NFC for the last 5 years has been complete dog shit. So all we have to do is make it to the postseason. And other than the Lions, can you tell me one team that you even remotely fear?
Minnesota.
Vikings.
I'm not worried about the Vikings. I'm sorry. That's me. And I understand that we lost to them already this year.
Hold on. But here's what I would say. Brian Flores plays a very similar defensive style to Steve Spagnuolo. And until this team proves that they can beat that, then you have to respect that.
I would feel better
the 49ers put up how much did I'm more worried about the Vikings and the Lions because the 49ers put up how much on the Lions in the NFC Championship game last year?
In one half.
38 or whatever it was.
Right. I'm just saying that it's an easier path to be successful in the postseason.
Sure.
We're going to get postseason
All you got to do
success.
Is get there.
Right. And so there's no reason to get rid of Kyle. That's how Jed's going to look at it. There's no reason to move on from any of your quarterbacks or whatever. Like, because the NFC is so weak, if you guys stop and think about the teams that we really struggle against, it's the Chiefs, it's the Bills,
Ravens.
It's the Ravens. It's all those teams that we might have to play in the postseason. I mean, in the Super Bowl. So the path to the Super Bowl for the Niners is easy as shit. And it's going to continue to be that way. And so there's never going to be a reason. I don't know what and how or what would trigger a change in this organization. There is nothing that I see that's going to trigger a change in this organization.
No.
So just be prepared for this in the future.
They just signed 6-year extensions too last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Last year. I want to put this up. Okay, you can go.
Go ahead. Was this the one you wanted?
This right here. I think you're wrong about the entitlement. We haven't won in over 30 years. I want to see a championship before I die. And then you got somebody else who's been like 7 seasons.
I understand
the same old thing. There. Get hot to the playoff and shit the bed with Kyle outsmarting himself. That's what I'm talking about. As if NFC championships and Super Bowls are a given. People want to fire Kyle all the time. And it's just like they've made the NFC Championship game 4 out of the last 5 years. They've been to 2 Super Bowls, right? And he's like, oh, the sense of entitlement. No, I want to see a Super Bowl before I die. What I'm saying is for the people that say Brock sucks, he's not the quarterback. Kyle sucks, fire him. What are you going to replace him with? Because we replaced Harbaugh with a guy that farted at the podium and couldn't get out of his own ass to call anything. And they had to pay that motherfucker for 3 years. And then the next guy, they had to pay him. So they were paying both of those shitty-ass coaches at the same time they were paying Kyle Shanahan. This is the entitlement that I'm talking about. For the people that just sit here and doom and gloom, and it's all or nothing. All or nothing.
So let's get into this press conference. Chat, I promise you we're not ignoring you guys. Also, we want to hear your takes. Even if we disagree with you, please send them in. It's all respectable debate. We don't mean any mean,
no disrespect.
No disrespect. So if we tell you that's a stupid fucking take, please don't take any disrespect by it. And you are more than welcome to tell us.
We tell each other that, by the way.
Yeah.
Mike, that's a stupid fucking take. So please, we're honest. We're not sugarcoating shit. I'd like to say we are fair here. Like this.
Kyle is a high-level loser. Here's this one.
Wait a second now. Hold on. Wait.
Kyle's
I like that.
Kyle's not his dad. He lost 3 Super Bowls. No, he lost 2 because he wasn't the head coach of the Falcons.
Right.
Again, this is going out of your way to shit on Kyle.
Well, you don't like that high level loser comment? I think that kind of
because here's the thing. Here's the thing. How many years did Andy Reid coach in Philadelphia? 11. Did he win a Super Bowl? No. And the knock on Andy Reid was Andy Reid can't win the big game. He's a high level loser. And now guess what? What are they saying about him now?
Well, he was a high level loser, to be fair.
But what I'm saying is if you bail on a guy because you think he's a high level loser, these will be the same people crying about them getting rid of Kyle the minute he wins a Super Bowl somewhere else.
I think we're all in agreement. Currently, he's a high level loser. We're just still expecting that trajectory to continue going, and he will overcome the hill at some point.
Okay, if we're talking about stupid takes, this is a stupid take. How do you know Andy Reid has no ego? You don't get to you don't get to be a coach in the NFL if you have no ego. That's the most preposterous thing I've ever heard in my life. Any successful person has ego.
Yeah, rightfully so, by the way.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this press conference.
With NFL, I know a lot of teams deal with that. Not every team, but we're dealing with it hard right now, and it got worse yesterday. So it's tough. Got worse today.
Talking about injuries.
I mean, obviously, Brock's dealing with inexperienced receivers. Ricky Pearsall's first game. I think 3 interceptions. How did you think Brock dealt with all that?
I mean, we didn't do anything really good on offense. You know, I know he'd love to have all 3 of those picks back. So Brock's been playing unbelievable this year. Done some good things in offense this year, but today wasn't that day.
That second interception, was that a miscommunication or did Brock just miss the throw?
No, he just missed the throw.
Obviously not the result you guys wanted, but kind of excluding the performance just for Ricky Pearsall to make it back onto an NFL field today. What did that mean?
Let me know if you guys want me to pause at any time to comment.
I already would.
Yeah.
Kind of
celebrate. So I love that. So I know Matt Burrows, I think, was the one that asked that second interception. No, that was Miyoko. That second interception, did Brock overthrow it and Kyle said yes. What? So even though he missed it. So even though he didn't say, I know we give number 10 on this team, no matter who's wearing it, a lot of shit. That was not on Ronnie Bell. I don't want to see misplaced hate. Yeah. Ronnie Bell was blocking his ass off, and per Kyle, he ran the right route. Brock didn't make the right throw.
And to be fair, I think every single one of us, as soon as that happened, immediately assumed Ronnie Bell ran the wrong route.
Yep. Well, Purdy was chewing him out as they were going to the sidelines.
Yeah.
They panned to him for a second, and he was...
Real quick, I just want to address this because I don't think this is a fair comment. I'm just a homer. I can't be objective. Did you not listen to me say that I'm feeling good because the Super Bowl expectations are off this team and that everybody played bad? I don't understand. I'm confused. It seems like you're not objective because you go all or nothing, and I actually have a level of nuance. So, I mean, I think that nuance is required because, again, it's 17 individual games that make up a season. And we've seen a 49ers team, what was it, 2021 or whatever? 2021, didn't they go 3-5 before they went to the NFC Championship game?
Yep.
Got blown out by Colt McCoy.
There's so much more season. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, again, you know,
Matt,
Kyle Shanahan, it's his first head coaching job. He's 6 years in.
But you don't have to defend yourself. If people think that you're not objective, Matt will rip Kyle, rip Purdy, or anybody who's at fault for any given game. The difference is that he keeps it in context. He's not going to look at one game and then say, oh, look at these other 7 games where the same thing happened when we got 52 games to pick from, right? So Matt will rip whoever is responsible in that moment, and then when they're good again, he'll give them praise the next time around.
Like that. It's time for Kyle to go. Fire Kyle. Like, my question to all of this, I've always said, it's who are you going to replace him with? Until you give me a better, this is the same thing when people talk about issues in the general world or whatever. Like, oh, we need what's one of the big ones?
Reparations. Oh, sorry, I'm black.
Stop oil.
Right. Okay, that's
no
a big
more
one.
oil.
That's a big one, right? Okay, what are you going to replace it with, and how is it? What's climate change is a big one. oh, we need to stop. We need to work on climate change. And it's like, okay, I agree. But give me a solution that is actually actionable. If you're just saying things and don't have an actionable solution for it, then you're just saying things with no intelligent thought, no foresight whatsoever. I don't work like that.
All right, let's get back to this presser.
Yeah.
That almost all week.
They're talking about
it was great to have him back, and he looked great in
meaning
practice.
of getting Pearsall back and how important that was.
He was going to get eased in a little today. It changed a little bit with Deebo going out. Then it changed a bunch with Ayuk going out. So he had to do more than we expected today, and I was proud of him for handling it. Great to have him back.
Deebo get the sickness this morning? Like,
this morning. Yeah. Throat, stomach things, just real fatigued, like struggled to breathe, couldn't catch his breath, and so he kept trying to fight through it. But once he was struggling with the breathing and everything, that we had to shut him down.
Matt,
I gotta pause here.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Deebo can't play through a fucking headache, man. Anytime this dude gets a bruise, he's out. He's out.
Someone sent me Deebo Samuel with his bubble gut today.
DBBLO.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to ask was, what do you guys think was wrong with him? Because I did see him with the oxygen mask on. I've never seen anyone like. I thought maybe he was dehydrated, maybe partied too much the night before. But like, what do you guys think was wrong with him?
If he woke up with like flu or something like RSV, you can have respiratory illnesses that will hit you like a ton of bricks. It actually happened to me last week where like Friday I was like, okay, I worked, I went. I was all right, you know. I felt like I had like a little bit of congestion, and it was fine. I didn't really think nothing of it. Maybe allergies or whatever, because I play with allergies. Oh yeah, that's the one I saw. Look at that little baby bubble gut right there.
So he's bloated as shit. Like that's wild. I didn't see that.
This is him walking out on the field for warmups.
But when I woke up on Saturday morning to get ready for work, like I had a ton of congestion like into my chest. And I couldn't, like, I was having a hard time breathing and like, I didn't feel right. So I ended up staying, home from work or whatever. But yeah, especially when you get those things and you're reliant upon being able to breathe as your job. Like I'm not too upset with Deebo Samuel that he couldn't go. He at least gave it a shot. But, when you're required to run and you have to have your airways working for you and it's not, especially the thing that said Kyle said, the accountable said, stayed home. Yeah, dude, I work at a hospital. I'm not gonna get my patients sick. That's ridiculous. Anyway, Deebo Samuel, when Kyle said breathing thing, stomach thing, that's what that kind of keyed me in. Maybe he has the flu, because the flu will attack your stomach too. So hopefully he'll be back next week.
Let's go back to this. But yeah, that pissed me off. And I get it, he's sick, but it's like, no matter what it is, any little thing, it like seems to keep.
Can I be honest with you?
Yes, please.
With or without Deebo, we weren't going to win this game because Spags would have just honed in on Deebo early.
Fair.
Like, I'll be honest with you.
It needed Christian McCaffrey. This game only makes sense with Christian McCaffrey.
The absence of Deebo does something to Kyle Shanahan's brain where he like doesn't. I said it in the chat. He said shit before, like, well, even if he's not getting the ball, he does so much stuff away from the play that it's really hard to overcome that when we don't have him. Fucker, just call the plays. Like, he's not there.
But then,
what are you gonna do?
And it was more than just Kyle too. So Kyle coached like he was coaching to overcome the Super Bowl last year, and Brock started playing like he was trying to overcome the Super Bowl last year. This is where like Kyle lets people kind of dictate how he runs his offense. And I said the same thing with like Brian Flores, right? He wants to do his like, I'm better than what I showed thing. And he goes so hard at it that he doesn't just game plan. And Brock definitely played like he was trying to make up for past sins. Yeah. So when you get that and then you start losing playmakers, man, like everybody played like shit. Everybody played they were so puckered tight today that it was just it was a bad showing. And you could tell like right off the rip that the offense, especially because the defense I thought played really well to begin the game, and into the second half they played well, but it was bad, man.
Yeah. Yeah, also kind of reminded me of like the Ravens game where it's like you're always told as a player, don't make a bad play worse. And it seems like Purdy, when he gets in these types of games, he seems to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really unfortunate. And I was trying to think when he threw that first interception after the 49ers stopped the fake punt, special teams actually came through for us.
Mhm.
It
That was a
seemed
bad throw.
bad throw, but I
Bad
was trying to
decision.
think how many games have the 49ers won where Purdy has at least one interception? The only one I could think of was the championship game. I can't think of too many other games where he threw an interception and they still won the game. And it seems like it's
I
like
don't
a
know, man.
theme.
He threw a lot of interceptions last year in games where they've won. I don't know, man. Like,
I'd have to break out the numbers. It just seems like that's a hill they rarely overcome, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say when he throws more than one, their record is probably really bad.
For sure. All right,
Yeah.
let's get back to this. Oh, here we go. They were 6-7. Now they're 6-8 when he throws an interception.
Which is like, I mean, that's not horrendous, right? Obviously, if you win the turnover battle, then you want to win the game. And I know the accountable said Purdy's interception in the red zone was inexcusable. I didn't like the decision at all. I didn't think it was. I thought Conley was in double coverage, but also Colt McKivshits did not help matters at all. That ball on the replay, did you see it pointing down at the ground the entire time? Like, it was clear he got hit. Just bad.
The Chiefs rushed 3 men, and Karlaftis still got to Purdy.
2 seconds. 3 men. So, like, they were going to be double covered anyways, right? Like, you would hope that, I don't know, that would have been one if they're rushing 3, drop 8. Like, Purdy, that's one that Purdy's like Mahomes did. Just take the quarterback draw. And I knew the Chiefs were going to draw on that play.
Yep. Faya Liger, 14-0 when Purdy doesn't throw an interception. So it really, I mean, they're less than 50% when he does.
Does that mean that Purdy is only?
Oh, got you.
Oh, echo, big echo.
What about now?
There you go.
Does that mean that Purdy is only ever not thrown an interception in 14 games?
No.
Right?
No. 14-0 when he doesn't throw an interception, 6-8 when he does. So he's thrown an interception in 14 out of 28 starts.
Okay.
All right.
Which, I mean, honestly, with
the
the rest of the league, that seems about right.
Yeah. Let's get back to this.
Yeah.
Man coverage in this game. Are there things you can do as a play caller, play designer to help scheme people open against those particular looks?
Yeah, that's all we try to do. Thought a couple guys did pretty good on man. Thought we got a good curl pump. Their Jake at the end. I thought BA had a real good one that we just didn't go to. Had one of the picks on it. Ronnie did on the other pick. So there was definitely times guys beat man, and sometimes they didn't.
Pause there real quick.
What did you see in terms?
I actually thought that was a decent question from Grant. That was actually like a football question. And I understand that Kyle's a little frustrated with that response, but I think a little bit more of a earnest response would have been better. I do think that the Brandon Ayuk drop was really, really painful. And there were plays that they had to be there, but it is a valid question. Is there something else you can do? One thing that I know the 49ers don't do very often is the rub routes, the pick plays.
Right.
That other teams do. And against man, again, this is like one of those, like, do you run more screens, right? Send all your guys on a go and then throw an actual halfback screen to Jordan Mason, and you've got space in front of you. So these are the holes in Kyle's game that he really needs to fill, and I'm surprised that he hasn't. And you would hope that somebody would, maybe have the stroke to talk to him about it.
Yeah, we'll see. But it was a good question. Okay.
How Mahomes was able to torment them again.
I thought the defense today, compared to everything else, gave us a chance. I thought they settled them down, but 4 or 5 in the red zone was the biggest thing. I mean, they scored pretty much every time they got down there. Mahomes, just keeping plays alive with his legs. That 30 scramble that he did, and then extended it by the sidelines, which we see over and over. And everyone thinks they're ready for it, but then he gets another team again with it. So hats off to him. He's an unbelievable player. We didn't play good as a team today.
You have one more game before the bye week. What was the message that you delivered to the team? What do you want them to take away from today?
I want them to say less today. There's no way to sugarcoat that. We got our ass kicked today. lots of reasons for it, but those are things that they don't need to sit and think about today. We'll address all those tomorrow. We'll get together. We'll go through the truth of the whole tape and, be hard on each other and find a way to put it to bed so we can come out here and make sure we put our best foot forward and find a way to get a win versus Dallas.
Tim's question, how much can you expect Brock to elevate himself given the circumstances?
On whose question?
Tim's question is about Brock.
Oh.
Given what was happening.
Yeah, Brock elevates himself a lot. I mean, regardless of whether guys are down or up. I mean, Brock's been doing that every game. He had some good plays today, but just overall, him along with all of us on offense, we didn't do well. When you do miss your best players or some of them and they go out with injuries, it makes it harder on everyone. And you hope that you can overcome that with some stuff with some of our other guys like Brock, who is very capable of doing that, but just wasn't his best day.
There continued frustration with special teams and what can be done to kind of clean some of the stuff up?
I can't hear you.
Is there continued frustration with special teams and what can be done to clean some of the stuff up?
We're going to keep coaching them. We're going to keep putting pressure on us as coaches, pressure on the players. As you do get guys down, you can't just try the next guy, so some of these guys are getting their opportunities because of injuries, and we got to make sure that we get better at this. There's certain things that we have gotten better at, but that big punt return, mainly the one that stuck out to me, they're getting too much, and we just got to continue to work at it and not ignore it, which we're not.
How long do you guys expect to be without Llewellyn Jennings?
I'm really hoping to get him back this week.
You've had some success running some screen plays. Why do you think you struggled defending those plays, given that you've seen them before?
Yeah, you see screens every week. That's what everybody does. Hits a couple screens in the game. They got past our D-line, sucked us up on that. I think they got us in a couple zone coverages where guys are out of there, and you need one guy to make the tackle, and that guy misses, and it opens it up. But they hit some good screens. It's what they do best, one of the best things they do, and they got us on them.
Is there any reason to believe Brandon doesn't have a torn ACL?
I mean, that's what it looks like, but we don't know for sure. Just doing the tests and everything with our hands and with the trainers and stuff, all that. So that's what we fear. That's what it looks like, but we've been wrong before. So praying that we are.
Past games don't mean much for this game, but what they were doing defensively, was it similar to some things you saw in the Super Bowl, or was Spagnuolo doing even other things?
No, it's what they do in the Super Bowl. It's what they did the 19 games before that. It's what they've done all the games this year. So they got a good scheme. They mix up a lot of two read coverage, a lot of quarters pressure, a lot of man coverage, and a lot of man pressure. So they kind of roll those throughout the game, and they're good at all of them.
There's a lot of emotion going into this game, and everyone can say it's just another game. It's not going to make up for the Super Bowl, but clearly it was important. What do you do now to kind of be able to put this behind you?
That's why I try not to make it about that stuff. Obviously when you got to, we all know how much last year hurt. So, when you're studying that tape all week and stuff, it does bring up emotions and everything. And yeah, you would love to beat someone, but if we beat them today, that wasn't going to change anything with the Super Bowl either. We'd love to do it. We haven't been able to beat them. So that's something that would feel really good, but I'm not going to make that more than it is. So we try not to make it more than it is all week, whether we won or lost. We knew we were going to come in Monday and review it and know we were going to have a big game versus Dallas this week before the bye week. And our goal is to be leading our division after this bye week. I didn't even watch what happened today. I think Seattle won, but we got to keep it close here and find a way to get a win next week.
It's hypothetical, but if Brandon does have an ACL, could you see being aggressive on the trade market for a wide receiver?
I don't know. Depends what's available. Depends the risk and reward with everything. We look into everything in every situation, but got to balance all that out. All right. Thanks, guys.
I can't imagine they trade for a receiver when you just got your first round pick back for the first time this year and he's a receiver. I assume they just stick with what we have here.
They're gonna stamp Pat.
Yeah. So
yeah,
let's get into our opinions on this team at this point in the season and where we think they're going to be moving forward.
This chat is wild today, guys.
Yeah,
I love it.
They're missing Jimmy Garoppolo all of a sudden.
Jimmy Garoppolo. He showed up today.
Yeah.
Listen, it's like people that are like, man, Kyle's playbook, it fucking sucks, right? Like, the 49ers were the third ranked scoring offense last year. In 2022, they were the 6th ranked scoring offense. In 2021, they were a little lower. They were like 11th. But you're talking about a team that's perpetually near the top 10 in scoring offense every single season in the NFL. Like, y'all are wild. Again, this is that all or nothing approach. These are the seasons that we want. These are the seasons that we want, right? If they're not going to win the Super Bowl, which the more I looked at this team and the more that they played, the more that I was worried because the injuries, it was giving me 2020 vibes. Christian McCaffrey being out for so long was an issue, right? Brandon Ayuk's holdout was an issue, and then him coming back and not looking good. The offensive line was an issue. If you got a team that doesn't run screens and doesn't do this stuff, right? And you got teams that are bad O-lines and not protecting their quarterback, then these are things you address in the offseason. They're never going to address these things in the middle of the season. It's too late for that. Once you get the ball rolling, your scheme and your team is what it is for the year, unless you do something major. These are the things. Again, you go to the draft. They're going to get another comp pick this year, a 3rd-round comp pick. They have their 1st-round pick. They have their 2nd-round pick this year. You're able to go out and get offensive line. They drafted offensive line this year, and Dominic Pooney looks like a steal, right? So then you continue. You go and get another offensive lineman. And then pretty soon you've stacked enough offensive linemen that you can go. And then there's free agency. There are people that aren't really used. Like, let's just say that for whatever reason, DeJuan Jones, the Browns want to work with DeJuan Jones and they don't want to pay Jack Conklin anymore. Okay, all of a sudden, Jack Conklin's a cap casualty. Can the 49ers go and then maybe sign Jack Conklin or somebody like that? So if you're looking at this season for all the deficiencies, and you're saying Kyle is an egomaniac. He's never going to change. The best way to deal with an egomaniac and get him to change his ways is slap his failures right in his face. So if you don't like the way that Kyle's playbook is running and you don't like the 7-step drops and you don't like all of that, then him having to go through this adversity is an opportunity for growth, because we don't grow from our victories. We grow from our defeats. And if you believe that people can change and grow, and you believe that, you know, that everybody has a situation to get better, then that's what it is. Kyle didn't like mobile quarterbacks at one time. And then guess what happened? Josh Allen lit his shit up on Monday Night Football. And he's like, damn, I better go out and get a guy like that. That led them to trade for Trey Lance. The move didn't work. But guess what? The intent was there.
And that's what I think we need to focus on. Well said, Matt. There's a blessing with every bad thing, is that you immediately can identify your deficiencies. I'm not echoing, right?
No, you're a little low, though.
Oh, is it because I was far away?
There you go. Perfect.
I'm sorry. So right now, we're going to see we have to invest more in the offensive line. Right now, Kyle is going to be forced to do something he doesn't normally do, and that is to see exactly what these young, inexperienced offensive pieces can do, right? So now he's forced to see what Pearsall and Cowan can do. It's not a coincidence that both of these guys got their first NFL receptions tonight. We're 7 games in, and Cowan, who's been healthy and on the active roster every game this year, got his first catch. It's not a coincidence, right? Like, when you start losing guys like Deebo and Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey, you got to start tapping into the depth. There was never going to be a situation where Garindo got inside and got a chance to play if Christian McCaffrey didn't go down.
Right.
It was never going to happen.
Yep. I mean, see, and how little Mason played last year.
Look at this chat. Look at you guys are hopeless then. If you don't think people can grow and change, listen. He went from somebody put in Kirk Cousins' name. Is Kirk Cousins on this team? Has Kirk Cousins ever been on this team? He went from Jimmy Garoppolo to drafting a guy in Trey Lance who can move, and now they have a starting quarterback who can also move and make plays happen with his feet. So what are you guys talking about? He went from not valuing mobile quarterbacks at all to valuing mobile quarterbacks. Like, what are we talking about? And people say, "Oh, grow in year 7." Listen, the literal only growing. Everybody in this chat saying that Kyle Shanahan will never change, he'll never grow, he won't do anything. Y'all will shut your fucking mouths the second he wins the Super Bowl, because that's literally the only game he has to win to shut you up.
And Kyle is also being forced to grow right now, guys. Like, there's a reason that the play action plays are down this year, but we're doing more shotgun. I think he recognized early on that this offensive line isn't built for the play action right now. We can't protect. You want Brock Purdy to turn his back to the offensive line?
To the line.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
He's seeing the pressure coming and still getting his ass whooped out there. What are y'all talking about?
Look at this. Kyle blows. Man, how many Jets fans would kill to have the 5-year run that the 49ers have had? How many Browns fans would kill for the how many fucking Cowboys fans would kill for the 5-year run? Like, you're comparing yourself to the Chiefs, and that's like fine if you want to do that. But to say like there's no success here or Kyle blows, like Jesus Christ, dude. How many defensive coordinators has Kyle Shanahan lost?
Not only that, just coordinators in general. Passing game specialist, offensive coordinator, all these players, these coaches, these positional coaches get poached every single year. Robert Saleh, D'Amico Ryans, Mike McDaniel. They just took Clint Kubiak. Now he's in New Orleans.
Right.
Like they took when Saleh left, they took was it other Kubiaks? Right. I forget who they took to or Slowick. I think Bobby Slowick. You know, like they poach from this roster every single year. My outlook on the team as far as where they're at, I said it before we went on. I penciled this game as a loss when we did the preview show back in August, but I didn't have them penciled losing to the Rams and the Cardinals. I think I might have had them losing to the Vikings. Maybe I did. But either way, if this would have been their first or second loss of the year, it would have been way more understandable and like easy to swallow. Pause. But the fact that they dropped two really unfathomable losses to the division in the Rams and the Cardinals and got whooped by the Vikings, and this is now their fourth loss in 7 games. Did they lose 6 games all of last season? Like it's crazy that they've already had 4 losses. It is concerning. My panic meter is extremely high, especially because of Ayuk's injury. Now, if we're going to see guys like Cowing and Pearsall come in and immediately contribute at a high level, I will feel a lot better moving forward, especially once we get Christian McCaffrey and Dre Greenlaw back. But there's still a lot of questions on this team that they haven't been able to answer. And I just want to say for the chat, everybody that's literally saying apparently bench Purdy all of a sudden, you guys were all in here talking about Purdy MVP last Thursday night when he whooped up on the Seahawks, when he had a great game, when he was making MVP level throws, that touchdown pass to George Kittle, that was Aaron Rodgers-esque. Like it's insane how up and down the discourse on Brock Purdy goes for some reason.
And Kyle Shanahan.
And
it's what I'm talking about. Like Kyle lost the Super Bowl with the All-Star team, stopped the cap. Okay. Tom Brady with the undefeated team lost to David Tyree and Eli Manning, who were a wild card team. Like that shit happens, dude. But the fact of the matter is, and yes, the ultimate goal is winning the Super Bowl. So you give me an alternative, an actual actionable plan alternative that would get the 49ers closer to the Super Bowl victory than they've been. Who's going to be the coach? Who's going to be the quarterback? Since you guys know, and you guys have all the answers, because until you give me a plan, then all it is bitching. All of you are unhappy wives bitching at their husbands. That's all you are. There's no nuance. You can't give me an actionable plan. This is a team that's been to the NFC Championship game 4 out of the last 5 years.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, did you anybody else have a problem with Tom Brady's commentary? Dude, he was
glazing
Patrick Mahomes so bad.
Anytime the Chiefs would have a big play, he's sitting there laughing. I'm like, I want to choke this motherfucker. It was so annoying. It's so annoying. And yeah, any little thing. It was like it reminded me of Tony Romo when Patrick Mahomes threw the ball into the feet. Oh, that's such a great throw right there, Jim. Oh, he did that on purpose. He threw that into the ground on purpose.
Yeah. Okay, this comment. Okay, so who are you going to get that's better? You can call me a Kyle Homer. I'm just a realist. Who is going to be better than Kyle Shanahan? Because if you can't give me
Belichick,
yes,
Belichick. What did Belichick?
He's not coming, but yes.
What? No. I want to ask a question. What did Bill Belichick ever do without Tom Brady?
I'm just asking if you would.
I'm posing the question. What did Bill Belichick ever do without Tom Brady? Because Tom Brady won a Super Bowl without Belichick. Belichick's record without Tom Brady is atrocious, and his last few seasons in New England was atrocious, where he was not only the coach, but he was the GM. And people would be like, well, Kyle's rolling out there with this and this and that. And Kyle absolutely does have input into how this roster is constructed, but that's giving John Lynch a huge pass. Like,
I just think that it's and while you're right, he didn't do anything without Brady. I think it's weird that we're afraid to try somebody different. Not so much afraid. I mean,
I'm not afraid to
they just
try
signed the
somebody different.
extensions.
I'm not afraid to try somebody different. I'm not afraid to try somebody different if there's somebody new. I know what Bill Belichick is. People put Brian Flores in the chat. He was not great with the Dolphins. Not a great head coach. And some people are built to be one thing or the other. And that's fine. That's fine. I'm sure some people would tell you they're better, one way or another. Josh McDaniel, probably a better offensive coordinator than he'll ever be a head coach. That's fine. They get to
And
focus
that's the
on their
issue.
one thing.
A lot of people think that, let's get a new head coach and make Kyle an offensive coordinator. It doesn't work like that in the NFL. If Kyle's not the head coach, he's not on the 49ers, guys.
Or people will be like, Kyle can't pick anybody who's talented. He lets the offensive line be bad. Also, make Kyle pick an offensive coordinator. So you're taking the one thing that Kyle Shanahan has been known for, which is his offensive scheme, and you want to take that away from him to make him only an overseer of personnel and a general overseer of the team.
Yep.
Like, what are you going to do?
So, yeah, I mean, I don't
you
think
lot
it's a
suck.
realistic
Window
option.
over. This is the shit, man.
It's not
Anyway.
that realistic. I think the 49ers are still fine because, like Mike said to start the show, who else in the NFC is separating? Who is miles ahead from this team right now? The Vikings lost for the first time this season to the Lions, and I think those two are really the only competition coming out of the NFC. Maybe you could argue Tampa. Maybe you could argue Seattle if they catch the Niners on a good day. Maybe you could argue, the Packers. But they're all kind of neck and neck. So I think the 49ers are going to be fine, especially when they have reinforcements coming in. And by the way, the chat saying also Kyle neglected the offensive line. Why didn't we draft? We drafted 2 offensive linemen, one of which is starting at right guard and is playing as good as any right guard in the NFL. Now, Jared Kingston, I thought they were going to keep. He didn't work out. That's fine. But they did draft. What the main problem, in my opinion, is center. Jake
Center and
Brendel
right tackle.
has been even worse than McKivitz. If you go off of PFF grading,
Yeah.
my eyes is what I go off of. And Brendel is consistently on his ass within 2 seconds of snapping the ball. And Purdy's getting blown up from the middle and blown up from the right. So they got to do something about that because they're not going to win a Super Bowl with Brendel as a center and McKivitz at
their
right
first play
tackle.
from scrimmage when it was Mason that got like a 9-yard run right off rip, and that was like, oh no, hold, just kidding.
Hold. Yeah.
Just
By
kidding.
the way, I saw questions asking why Feliciano isn't in. He's still not healthy.
He's
Healthy.
not
He's
healthy.
on the NFL or the NFI or IR, whatever list he's on. But he
Yeah.
did post last week that, I'm ready gif. I would love to see Feliciano at center. Feliciano at center would make this offensive line
Again,
so much better.
A marginal improvement over Brendel. You get Christian McCaffrey back after the bye, and you get Pearsall and Cowing some growth. Deebo will be back. Jennings will be back. Then all of a sudden, you're really missing Ayuk, which is not great, but is not as dire as, all things considered, right? FC Collection said, who needs a coach who can't score? They only scored 2 field goals and 1 touchdown today. I mean, they were without their top 3 wide receivers.
And they had
what do you want them to do?
1 red zone interception.
Right.
I don't remember where the other 2 were, but that at least takes
Brock,
off.
Brock played bad. That
He
happens.
played poorly. He played
Like, I don't think Kyle Shanahan forced Brock Purdy to miss the Ronnie Bell throw. Just saying.
Well, so we have to keep in mind that we thought
Echo.
that
Echo.
Are you still in echo?
Yeah.
All right, never mind.
No. Keep fix.
Just say
figure
it,
out.
yeah.
Just say it. Fuck it. Echo or not, we move.
Well, I was just gonna say I don't know that it was echo gone.
Good.
Okay, I don't know that we expected this team to win this game versus hoping that we won it, but I think we all wanted to see the Niners be competitive, and because we weren't as competitive as we wanted to be or see, we feel like the sky is falling. It's an easy path in the NFC, and that's just what we have to accept. So I just think that's where we are.
This is a weak NFC West as well.
Yes. By the way, this comment cracks me up. Why are you thinking CMC is going to save the team? I don't know. Maybe the reigning offensive player of the year might do something to improve the team when he comes
Maybe
back.
Kyle Shanahan will be more willing to throw some fucking screen passes because that's
Right.
literally he did that like 5 times a game with CMC last year.
Right.
Literally would toss him a screen pass 5 times a game. Luis says, "Why do I get upset over these shows?" I'm not upset. I'm trying to instill some actual critical thinking in some people, and I know it's shouting into the wind, but it's fine.
Matt Antonio
It's
says,
fine.
if you saw the way his knee looked, I don't think he's coming back. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Truly hope I'm wrong with the way that knee looked. I don't think he's coming
I
back.
thought ACL right away, MCL definitely. If the test shows no ACL, which like fingers crossed, then he'll probably miss 4 to 6 weeks and then could potentially be back. So yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you guys want to check the private chat. I got to hop off soon. I don't know if you guys want to keep going, but what were some bright spots from today? Were there any bright spots at all in your opinion?
I thought the defense played pretty well.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
And there was like a couple of like mystifying plays. The scramble on the sideline was just like really weird. Missed tackle. Again, Fred was there, right? Fred was there, and it's a hair away from being a loss. It didn't turn out that way, and results are the only thing that matters. But I thought the defense actually played better.
On that play that he scrambled on the sideline, I just want to say that was going to be a big game no matter what, because he tiptoed the sideline and looked like he was going to go out. If he had got hit, they were going to throw a flag.
Yeah,
I was sitting here like, didn't they make that a rule where you can't fake the slide or fake like you're going to go out of bounds anymore?
They did. I'm
so
pretty sure,
we were damned if you do and damned if you don't in that situation. But to Matt's point, the defense played well. I was very happy to see the blocking and the route running by Ronnie Bell. I was happy to see Pearsall get involved. Welcome back. Cowing get involved. It's good to see these young guys getting worked in. And, I mean, not for nothing, did you guys even know Chris Jones played tonight?
No, that's what I was going to say. Pooney did a great job. Chris Jones was irrelevant. He was great in the run game, don't get me wrong, but he did not blow up any pass plays. He did not sack Brock Purdy. He was great. I was really impressed with that. And I get it was garbage mop-up duties. I got to shout him out because he hasn't played well. Burford came in after Trent got ejected, and he played fine at left tackle. I mean, it was interesting. That is his natural position coming out of UTSA, and the 49ers asked him to play on the right. He didn't do that well. Maybe he looks better and feels more comfortable on the left, just something to keep in mind. But I was impressed by that. I was impressed by the rookie DBs as well. I thought Mustafa was laying the wood paws all day. I mean, he got taken out by Mahomes.
He did get trucked at the end, but
he was laying dudes. He looked like a heat-seeking missile out there.
But he did post on X. He did post on X, like kind of making fun of himself.
Yeah.
So that's always a good way to.
I'm getting flamed or whatever. He posted good. Lenore did good. I thought the DBs played well. I was very pleased with Cowing. I want to see Cowing get more snaps. And I saw you guys saying in the chat, "Why the hell is Bell even playing?" That's a Cow. Okay, well, you don't have Deebo, you don't have Llewellyn, you don't have Ayuk gets his ACL blown out. Like, who else is going to play? Like, I literally don't think they had any other wide receivers active today than who ended up being on the field.
And just to remind people, Bell did not run the wrong route.
No, he did not.
And he got open. He got open on that route that Purdy overthrew.
He cooked on that route. Like, if Purdy makes the throw, then that's a first down.
Yeah.
And he was past the sticks with the comeback.
It was like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6.
Yeah. I mean, the chat's still going off. FC Collection, you're not stating any facts. You're just stating things. But it's fine.
Linebackers did not play well, to be honest. I agree with this. They kind of looked lost in pass coverage. I think Fred was a little confused constantly whether or not to go with the running back or go with the tight end going right past him. Left a lot of wide open zones in the middle of the field. That play that Mike just talked about where Mahomes is tiptoeing along the sidelines, he was like fucking hiding behind the running back for I don't know if he was trying to surprise Mahomes or what, but he like stood behind the running back and then Mahomes just goes right around him, gets the edge and goes up 30 yards. So it was really frustrating.
That same play,
drink less, bro.
I have never heard a commentator praise a player for their eyes.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear? But what he did with his eyes to make it look like he was gonna shovel pass, and then Like, bro, you're praising him for what he did with his
Yeah.
eyes, not looking somebody off. It was he made his eyes big, and that was phenomenal. Like, get SMD. Like, stop playing with me, man.
All right, fellas, I'm hopping off. You guys continue,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Have a great show, guys.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow all of us. Take care, guys.
Yeah. Anyway, Mike, we're still good. We're still good. He said, so it's not a fact that they are shit. I don't think they're shit, dude. Like, again, you're talking about a team that's one game out of first place. They're not shit. You're just in your feelings. Get out of your feelings, man. This was a competitive game into the third quarter, and you're just mad that, again, like we all are, Kansas City played a shitty game, and they weren't able to capitalize on it. That's how it goes, man.
Yeah. I just don't know what people expected. And I don't even know if it's a full game. I think it might. Well, no, it is a full game.
This is true. This is not true. This team went to the Super Bowl last year. Bro, they can beat good teams. Again, you're talking about a team that was without, again, the offensive player of the year from last year for the whole season so far, and their top 3 wide receivers for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Again, trash. No, if you want to see trash, go and look at a team like the Patriots, the Miami Dolphins, the Panthers, the Jacksonville Jaguars,
right?
Who have no injuries and just can't win.
Yeah, like the sky isn't falling despite how we feel right now, but we also have to be realistic with what's going on, guys.
Sure,
like, it's a long season, a lot of games left. We have 10 more games left. Now, the one thing I will say, Matt, and let's fix this. Let's get us on like even screens or something if you can.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But
here we go.
The one thing I will say is we have 2 or 3 more teams coming off a bye when we're not off of a bye. So we're going to be behind on the days off and rest thing that's out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're going to have a lot more closer games than what we hoped for. The Bills being one of them, we're probably going to lose that game.
Sure, absolutely. And that's been traditional, right? Like the AFC teams, the NFC teams, all that stuff. There are teams that the 49ers match up very well against. There are teams that the 49ers don't match up well against. And that's just the way that it is. So do you think that, if Brock Purdy doesn't play at a top level, do we think that the 49ers can sign him for cheaper than $60 million? I don't think he's going to sign for $60 million. I think he's going to take less.
Oh, I think you're smoking. I think the market is the market. I said that with Ayuk. It's not about how good I think he is or how the Niners use him. You have to pay a guy top 5 money no matter what when he gets the next contract. He's either a starter or he's not, and the rate is the rate.
Right.
Unfortunately, Brock is going to get that $60 million.
This dude says, is this guy a Chiefs fan? He's not a 49ers fan. I can tell just by the way he's saying things. Because, again, the 2021 team started 3-5 and made the NFC Championship game.
Right.
Like, the Chiefs have started 6-0, but when you go back and watch them play, do they look like the best team in football? Absolutely not.
It's the luckiest 6-0 ever. Other than that Panthers year where they had a cakewalk of a schedule. I don't know if you remember that year. The Panthers started like 8 or 9-0.
Uh-huh.
They were 10-1 at one point or something like that.
Yep.
I think they made the Super Bowl that year. But
yeah,
I mean, listen. Here's the one thing I will say. If you are a Chiefs fan, those refs work for the Chiefs, man. Nick Bosa got clothesline. He needs to learn how to flop. Can someone teach Nick Bosa to just stop doing this and looking at the officials? If you're gonna throw your arms up, kick your legs out. Then they'll have to throw the flag.
This guy said, "Come on, it's not luck." Them calling pass interference on the Bengals player that was going for an interception, that wasn't luck. The fact that they're 6-0 and Patrick Mahomes has more interceptions than touchdown passes.
Or how about this one from tonight? Patrick Mahomes touchdown where he truck cowing.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, they called a penalty.
Mustafa, by the way. Mustafa.
Oh, yeah. What did I say?
Mustafa. You said cowing.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
They called a penalty for defensive holding on a play where Travis Kelce was run blocking him.
Right. Well, exactly. So, like, if you don't think that the officials are just like looking to give the Chiefs something, you're wrong. I don't know how else to explain it.
Right.
It's going to be It's going to be a lot of this all week long. And then if we go out and beat the Cowboys, no one's going to talk about this game anymore.
No one's going to say shit. No one's going to say shit. You know, like the Seattle Seahawks dog walked the Falcons today, who were very close to beating the Chiefs. And the 49ers beat them by double digits last week. It's any given Sunday in the NFL. And there's, again, you tell me a team that's probably going to go out and win against the defending Super Bowl champion, losing its top 2 wide receivers within the first half of the game.
Exactly.
Like, what are we talking about? You know?
It's tough, man. Matt, you know, like I just don't want people to like lose sight. I understand this is the overreaction.
Yeah. I mean, this is an overreaction right here. Nobody cares if we beat the bum ass Cowboys. Everybody cares about the Cowboys game.
But so
if you're a 49ers fan, you care. Like
Jaden, do you prefer that we have beat the Chiefs instead of the Cowboys? If you had to pick a loss between those two, which one would you choose? Just let them answer that, and that's going to tell me everything I need to know. And maybe this is an opportunity for education. It's going to take him a while to respond to that. But like
this guy said, Deebo didn't look sick, bro. He was coughing when he was jogging back to the locker room, bro. And he was on oxygen the whole time.
He was on oxygen. He could barely keep his eyes open, but he didn't look sick.
Wait, what was the question?
He said beat the Chiefs. My question was, which would you rather win?
You'd rather beat the Chiefs.
He said it. He said it. He typed it in
So
there.
then you don't know football because the 49ers don't have to beat the Chiefs in the regular season to make the playoffs and win tiebreakers. The NFC schedule is more important than the AFC schedule.
Right. And so that's why I said this is an education opportunity.
Right.
Listen, whether we won or lost this game, it wasn't the difference maker when it counts. All the tiebreakers start in the NFC.
Yep.
Division, conference, and then the record. So the more important game to win is the Cowboys. Fire. He just said it there. Fire.
Let's see.
Rather beat the Cowboy. 938. Divisional more important. Well, he meant conference, but yeah.
Okay. There we go.
At 938. Yeah. Conference is what he meant.
Conference more important. Yeah. See, and this just shows, all the people all the regular people, this guy, you guys are making no sense. You guys need to get out of your feelings and really think critically about this, because all you have to do is get to the playoffs. And then it's an entirely different ballgame. It's an entirely different ballgame. Like I said, the 6th seeded New York Giants beat the 17-0 New England Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That Giants team, I believe, was 9-7 that year. And they beat a Tom Brady 50 touchdown season team.
Right. And that's what we have to remember, guys. It's not all doom and gloom.
All right. So you're always with me on my takes, but Purdy ain't it. What do you define as it? And what would you replace Purdy with that's been better than what the 49ers have had since Steve Young retired?
And people,
because again, if you can give me something actionable, I can agree with you. Like if you were to say, the I don't know. I'm trying to think here. Like the Cincinnati Bengals decided that they no longer want Joe Burrow. So we're going to get rid of Joe Burrow and the 49ers can get him for cheap or whatever. Like, okay, maybe that's a conversation to have. But what, you're going to take a chance on a college guy? Well, they took a chance on a college guy in 2021. Matter of fact, 5 teams took a chance on college guys in 2021 in the first round, and all of them suck.
I mean, it's so weird.
Whoa. You think Colin Kaepernick is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy? See, now I know you're just stupid. Kaepernick had one good season. One. None of the numbers back up what you're saying, except maybe rushing yards. Brock Purdy is the best statistical quarterback the 49ers have had since Steve Young.
It's like people don't think that Joe Montana or Steve Young ever had a bad game before.
Right.
Like, I don't get it.
Doesn't Montana have a ton of 3 interception games?
Montana had a game where he was 10 for 20 and an interception, rating of 41.3, sacked twice. Like, what do you guys think his rating was? What do you think Brock Purdy's rating was? Like, if I put this in order of worst games for Joe Montana, that's up there. 17 of 37, 2 interceptions and 1 touchdown. Didn't Brock Purdy run a touchdown in today?
Yes, he did.
Like, we gotta stop with this, or maybe we don't. You know what? Maybe we let him have this moment. It's the overreaction. Sure. It's fresh. It hurts more. It stings a little bit more. But guys, like, this ain't it. This ain't it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Joe Montana has had a game with 3 interceptions. He played the Rams, 235 yards, 3 interceptions, quarterback rating of 62.3. Mm-hmm. It happens.
Right. And what was Mahomes' quarterback rating today? 44.7?
I think Brock's was higher.
No, Brock's was low. Brock was like 38.
Oh.
Again, Brock isn't him, right? Brock isn't. So who is? Who is him? Because everybody thinks that Patrick Mahomes is him. Patrick Mahomes hasn't been him this season, right? CJ Stroud was him last season. CJ Stroud is not as good this year. Like, quarterbacks go through ups and downs. Again, statistically
you gotta let the season
speaking,
write the story.
Right.
You got to let the season play itself out, guys.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. And it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be mad at how the 49ers performed. It's okay to be mad at Kyle, the offense altogether.
Sure.
It's fine. All of that is fine. But we're like,
no, I'm not saying Brock is better than Patrick Mahomes. What I'm saying is every quarterback has bad games. So you can't just say a blanket statement and expect it to wash over like Purdy ain't it. I'm not even saying Brock is him.
He's just saying Brock ain't as bad as what y'all are making it sound.
Right. It's, again, this is the problem that I have. It's black or white. It's all or nothing. There's no nuance.
He had a bad game. He had a worse game against the Ravens last year, and we were in the Super Bowl. And
honestly, I think that Brock Purdy's game today was probably a worse played game because Brock was all over the place. The Ravens game, the 1 interception to Hamilton in the end zone, I thought was actually on him. The rest, it was like a lot of tipped passes and shit like that. So,
that's okay. So let's talk.
Why am I in my feelings? Again, can you not combat the things that I'm saying? Combat the things that I'm saying, and then I'll take you seriously. Until then, like if Brock Purdy is a top, let's just give low end estimate. Let's say he's a top half quarterback in the NFL, top 16, which I think is low for him, but that's fine. If he's top 16, who are you going to replace him with that's readily available that you can guarantee is going to be better than him?
Well, they're already saying tank for Manning. I mean, I'm just letting you know. And
Manning is not draft eligible until 2026.
Say it again.
He is not draft eligible until 2026. He literally cannot come out for the draft this season. I don't think he's a $60 million quarterback either. I don't think he's going to take that. Mike does. But again, get out of another man's wallet. Like Mike said, the market is the market, and they're going to have to pay him eventually.
It's so bad. It's like I get it. I understand why people are upset, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not as like quick to overreact as everybody else because I had this pegged as a loss all along. I'm probably echoing.
You are.
Sorry. There we go. Did it turn it off?
Yeah, you're good.
I had this pegged as a loss all along, so I wasn't really worried about this one. I didn't care. Win by 100. Win by 1, lose by 100, lose by 1. It's still a loss, and that's where we are.
Again, okay, that's fine. So if you guys want a boring show, then me and Mike and Zach can all be exactly the same, and we could speak exactly the same, and then this would be really boring. But there are over 500 people watching this show right now, not because we're all the same and do the same thing that everybody else does. I'm sorry that the way that I want things to be discussed, that's intellectually honest, and you guys don't. And that's okay if you don't want to do that. If you want to be casual and you want to do that. But to think that I'm actually like mad about this and it affects my day is not true. It's kind of like when we do these shows, it's a little bit of like we get up right? Because there are times when I've seen Mike and he's not chill. I watched. I think it was after what was it? Was it the Rams loss?
Oh,
was it the Rams loss where you went ape shit? Like, come on, man. Like, I'm trying to engage. What I'm trying to do is get you guys to critically think and make you a part of the show, because I could sit here and just talk to you guys I could sit here and not put any comments on the screen unless you were a super chat like some other 49ers content creators do and not engage with you guys. But that's not what I choose to do. Because at the end of the day, this is fun for me. 946 Green Mobster. All right.
I will bet you, Green Mobster, that the 49ers not only make the playoffs, make the NFC Championship at least.
Ooh.
Whatever you want to bet.
I like that.
Whatever you want to bet. Because the NFC is soft. I've been saying this since the very beginning of the show. I've been saying it all season long. The NFC is soft. There's one, maybe two teams, maybe two, that can challenge the Niners in getting to the Super Bowl. All we got to do is get to the dance.
Be careful. You guys can conduct terms behind the scenes for legal purposes.
Yeah, I was kidding. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Don't worry about us. Eye in the sky. We're just playing.
By the way, guys, if you aren't subscribed to the 49ers Hive channel, you're slipping. You're lacking. Subscribe. All right. I know Matt said there was mad people watching right now.
Yeah.
We should all be subscribed to 49ers Hive.
Depends if Greenlaw. So Greenlaw, man, that's a tough one, because you wonder about how explosive he's going to be coming off an Achilles, and it might take him time to really get back up to speed. Like on a football
he's already
level.
pushing people around on the sidelines, so let's put some pads on him and give him some more time to heal up. You never know.
That's true. Bro, I thought it was really petty that they were like, yeah, 49ers, you're going to get $100,000 fine.
Yeah.
Like fucking for what? Did they wait? So I know Fat Dom got suspended for like the regular season or whatever. But did the Eagles team get fined? Do you know?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because I get the player fine. Like right, like Dre Greenlaw deserved that, whatever that fine was. I think it was like $15,000 or something like that. But no, hey, we won't break TVs here. That's Cowboys fans every time they play the 49ers.
They fined the Eagles $100,000 and banned them from the sideline.
Okay, so then I'm cool with it, because at least there was precedent, and like I'm okay. Fair is fair.
Yeah, it was actually the same offense.
Fair is fair.
A non-playing person being involved with contacting an active player.
But I don't like that. It's like when LeBron was winning the East, but Spurs still won the whole thing when the NBA wasn't rigging for but LeBron has 4 championships. Like, it's not like he didn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? And I would argue that getting to a Super Bowl, like they've done it I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Oh wait, there's a call out for you.
I don't like Mike changing the tune when he is with Matt. Earlier, Brock was bad on his OR. Now we are idiots. And
I don't remember you calling anybody an idiot.
Not once. But I am a contrarian, so if one person's up here, I will play devil's advocate.
Right. Again, this is the show. It's content creation. It's to drum up conversation and to get people to think and get people out of it. Like, fuck, man, we suck. Fuck, man, the world is over. Fuck, I need to go punch my TV. Like, I hate football, this and this and that. Like, this is to get people to think about things critically instead of just going with the masses. Having back and forth allows you to see both sides of an argument and then make your decision. You know?
Yeah, and if you think that I think now that Brock was good this game, you're absolutely wrong.
He was bad.
Dog shit.
Dog shit.
This is one of the worst games, maybe the worst game I've seen from Brock Purdy.
Yeah, but Mike, would you agree with me that having a dog shit game doesn't mean that you're a dog shit player?
I 100% agree with that.
And that's the point that we're trying to make. Calling a bad game does not make you a dog shit coach. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, Mish Wisnowski absolutely whiffing on an onside kick doesn't mean that he doesn't have the ability to do it. Although, like, I haven't really seen
Mitch?
it, but like, I think so. Yeah, yeah. He fucking whiffed on that. That was a microcosm of the day when that happened. I was like, oh yeah, that
shit
is
spun for brand. 4 yards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then topped like somebody spinning a basketball on their finger.
But that goes to Kyle, who said it himself last week. I don't values special teams.
Yep.
He said we should be able to beat teams with having to rely on the tricks and 8 plays of special teams throughout the course of a game. Kyle just flat out doesn't value special teams. And until he changes his mindset, until they lose us a very important game, he has no reason to change his mind.
Which, by the way, if you have a wall up, don't you think that shit like this happening, like the punt return that came, or the punt return that came all the way back to the other side, do you not think that those are things that put just a little bit of a nick in that wall and allow you to get through it? Yeah. So
that's why I'm happy that this is happening this early in the season.
Yeah.
Now the question is this, Matt.
Yeah.
When, in my opinion, we overcome all of these bad things that are happening now through these first 7 games. If and when we overcome special teams being a liability and costing us major plays and field position, if and when we overcome the injuries costing us games, if and when we get our kicker back and all of a sudden we're okay again, and we make this playoff push that I predict that we're going to have, will Kyle still change his tune? Or do we have to lose an entire season in order for Kyle to be like, you know what, maybe I should?
I think it will take multiple instances. I don't think it's a one-off. I don't think this is going to change his mind completely.
Well, 4 games this year already, special teams has cost us games.
I would hope that he would change it after, but I think, again, it's going to have to. Here's the thing. He did change his tune on mobile quarterbacks after Josh Allen, ass pumped him on Monday night. I think that game, what was that game? 48-3 or something like that. It was preposterous. It was a terrible game. So I'll get back to this FC collection. I already know what you said. This one, what's response to that? Kyle doesn't care about special team when that's what hurts. That's all Kyle's fault. Kyle not caring about special team is absolutely his fault. 100%.
1,000,000%.
100%. But again, no coach is perfect. Andy Reid's not perfect by all means. Right? You show me a coach who's perfect. A coach who's never lost a game. A coach that's Andy Reid has a Super Bowl loss. Andy Reid has NFC Championship game losses.
He's got 2, by the way. 2 Super Bowl losses.
Yep. Oh, that's right. They got ass pumped by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 31-9.
And the Eagles.
Yep. And with the Eagles. So that's what I'm saying. So would I take Ben Johnson over Kyle? I don't know enough about Ben Johnson. I would have to look.
Lions offensive coordinator.
I mean, it would be again, if the team fired Kyle Shanahan, right? Because listen, there is an old saying, and it's a reason why it's a saying, because it's considered a truism. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. You go with the devil you know over the devil you don't. And Ben Johnson very well could be somebody fantastic, right? But how many people thought, Mike McDaniels with the Dolphins going to be amazing? I mean, it's not really working out. Robert Saleh, great hire by the Jets. He got fired. How many coordinators do we see that you think are the next NFL's next big thing, and then they turn out not to be that? So, I would caution people against being too quick about that. To go back to FC collection, didn't scheme wide receivers against man coverage for 4 quarters. Again, you tell me the scheme that is beating man coverage beyond the wide receivers actually do have to go out and then beat the man coverage.
So and Matt, that's a great point, right? No 49ers wide receiver can beat man coverage right now. Not one of them, especially with Brandon Ayuk gone for the season now. What do you guys think Kyle's going to say when the draft is approaching? Right? First of all, I don't know why people thought that was Pearsall, because I haven't seen it. When I went back and watched the college tape, I didn't see beating man coverage. I saw
he beat man coverage 72% of the time on press man coverage. I have the statistic for it. He actually, and by the way, for today, I thought Ricky Pearsall separated plenty.
Ooh,
he looked good today.
I got to disagree with you there. Now I got to go back and watch.
Go back and watch on the plays specifically where Purdy missed him. Again, we're talking NFL windows, not college windows. We're talking NFL windows.
That's different. Okay.
Pearsall separated plenty for an NFL window that you need. Again, you need Purdy to make that throw, obviously.
Right. Get your defender behind you, and
exactly.
Then that's open in the NFL.
Not arguing with me saying Brock gets paid, he needs to elevate others around him and not vice versa. I'm afraid that next year we are the Cowboys. No CMC, Brandon Ayuk on a holdout, so not himself. Deebo Samuel washed, like I said, which I'm absolutely correct on. Brock Purdy, top. even after today, top 5 in passing yards, and Niners 31st in the league in yak yardage. So who's carrying who?
It's a change in the system, though. It's a change in the system.
Oh, but
You
what
know
I'm
why?
saying is,
because
in years past, when they say check down merchant and the Niners are number 1 in yak yardage, okay, I can't deny that there's an argument there. But when Brock Purdy is still near the top of the league and he's without a weapon and he's got people that aren't getting yak yardage, then how is the ball getting to those receivers for Brock Purdy to get those yards? Brock Purdy is putting the ball there.
And for everybody out there who thinks that Kyle Shanahan can't change, doesn't know new tricks and all that stuff, let me just ask you guys this question. Why do you think the Niners aren't getting yak this year? I'll tell you why. I'm going to answer the question. I don't even want to ask you guys so you can respond. Because Steve Spagnuolo did to the 49ers what the 49ers did to the Eagles when we played them again. When we went to their house and caused their entire season to fall apart, they only won 1 more game after the Niners played them out of 7 games. They won 1. And you want to know why? Because the blueprint was put out on how to beat that offense. The blueprint was put out there on how to make those guys come back down to earth. Spagnuolo did the same thing to the 49ers in the Super Bowl. And so now all teams are saying, hey, fuck that zone shit. The Niners have a million zone beaters built into their offense. Make them beat us by man. And now the flaws have been extrapolated and put on Front Street for everybody. And that's exactly what Spags did for the entire NFL. And now, if you don't believe that Kyle is all of a sudden changing, if you don't believe that Kyle's calling things different, the play actions and all that shit, all that stuff is gone now. We're out of shotgun more. There's a reason for that. And there's a reason why Brock and the 49ers are 31st with yak now.
Yep.
There's a reason why he's leading the league in air yards right now because he's been forced to adjust. So don't sit here and act like Kyle can't make changes as he sees the need to do so. He's done just that.
And we already said no play action because of the offensive line, which is he said, nah, bro, he don't get the yak credit because nobody is getting catches. If nobody's getting catches, then how is he – if the quarterback can't get them the ball, they can't make plays. How is he near the top in the NFL in passing yards then? Right. If he's not getting the receivers the ball.
And the receivers aren't getting yak.
Right.
So then where are the yards coming from?
So if the 49ers were still first in yak with the same play, let's just say the wide receivers were able to get more open and they got yak yards. How many more passing yards would Brock Purdy have with a number 1 yak team than what he has right now? Because he leads the league in air yards per attempt by I think 2 full yards. He's pushing the ball down the field.
Absolutely.
So that what your comment does not make any sense from a pure statistical standpoint. I'm sorry, it doesn't. This is absolutely true. CMC is one of the best players in the NFL, and he'll help when he comes back, provided that he's fully healthy, of course.
Absolutely. Teams have to play the Niners different once he comes back.
Mike, do you want to take this one? Kyle, whoa. Brock Purdy's quarterback rating is higher against the blitz than it is with a clean pocket, just so you know. Statistical fact. Again, you guys are saying things that just aren't statistically true. Anyway, let's see. This one. Do you want to take that one, Mike?
I got you. Will, thanks for the comment. He says here, if Kyle is an offensive genius, why doesn't he use man beaters, pick plays?
Yep.
This is loaded. So first, you have to have people to be able to execute. The 49ers have never been able to run successful screenplays. I haven't seen it. Pick plays and all that. We get penalties every time we try to do a pick play. They throw the flag and say that the receivers were blocking too early. You know what I'm saying? Like it's illegal contact or offensive pass interference as soon as we try to do them. It's just not a strength of the team, and that goes to your personnel, in my opinion. I said it maybe 5 minutes ago. How do you think we're going to address the draft? How do you think we're going to approach the draft now? Now we're going to be looking for people who can beat man coverage, for people who can block downfield, and all those things. That's what we're going to do now when our feet are to the fire. This is only going to help identify the flaws on the team. We're only going to be better for this, guys. We just have to have the patience to go through it. We've got to endure the challenges.
Now, I'll address this one. Understand my logic. I'm saying Brock is elevating the players around him, and you're only basing that on passing yards. No, because single factor analysis is terrible. Turnover worthy throws, low. Passing yards, high. Air yards, high. Let me ask you a question, because we've heard everybody say that Brock Purdy throws a very catchable ball. Did Brock Purdy do anything to not put Brandon Ayuk in a position to succeed on the pass that Brandon Ayuk dropped today?
I told you guys, if you guys watched the first overreaction show, I told you this play was going to come up again. I told you guys. While everyone said Kyle wasn't in his bag, that was a great play call. That
might have been 6.
And Ayuk just dropped. There's a reason he
Brock
dropped to his
Purdy
knees
put
and
it
banged his head.
In his fucking hand. And by the way, that's not the only time we've seen 49er wide receivers do that.
Yeah.
How many drops has Brock Purdy had? Right? Like, Brock Purdy does have good ball placement. Not today. His ball placement today was fucking terrible. It's like Brock Purdy, like, I don't know, drank a couple 40s before he went out there, because his aim was off. You know when you play the video game, right?
Today,
you ever play Grand Theft Auto and you drink and then all of a sudden, like, the screen goes like...
Wait, stop. You're telling me they have alcohol in Grand Theft Auto?
Have you never played a Grand Theft Auto game? They got alcohol. They got strippers.
I knew they had hookers.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Are
yeah,
you
they have
serious?
alcohol. Yeah. In Grand Theft Auto.
And then it makes you inebriated in the game?
Yeah, and then the screen gets all wonky. That's how Brock Purdy played today.
That's phenomenal.
But for the most part, Brock Purdy... here's a perfect example. Ronnie Bell against the Los Angeles Rams. How can Brock Purdy elevate a guy more than that? Like, he can't run out there and, like, literally place his hands on the ball like he is Quicksilver from the X-Men movie, right? Like, he can't do that. That's not how that works.
Ronnie Bell ran good routes today. Ronnie Bell was a phenomenal blocker today. But we're going to continue to run with the narrative from the last couple of weeks.
Right.
So
that's the thing that I'm saying. It's not just a single factor thing. You're not seeing Brock Purdy, like, fuck up a ton of throws. He'll underthrow. Like, listen, he'll underthrow some deep throws. He'll overthrow some deep throws. Patrick Mahomes overthrew 7 today, easy, to Xavier Worthy, because Xavier Worthy ran right by, I think it was it Mustafa?
Well, Mustafa was the safety on that play, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who was supposed to have him as a DB,
right.
But yeah. It was zone, and they passed it off, yeah.
And then Patrick Mahomes underthrew Travis Kelce when Travis Kelce absolutely cooked Ward, allowing Ward to get back into the play.
Yeah.
So every quarterback, again, you're talking about everybody wants to harp on the deep throws. You guys realize that deep throws are like the lowest percentage throw in the NFL, right?
Less than 40% success rate.
So, you know, I don't know what to tell you guys if you want, like, you know, again, you want to put players in position to make plays. So that was a big play that Brock Purdy made to Jacob Cowing, and then he made a bad play. That happens. But each play is in a vacuum. And when you see Brock Purdy play, he makes more good decisions than he makes bad decisions, by far.
Significantly more good than bad.
Right.
This was just not a good game.
No, it was not a good game. And I don't think anybody should be arguing that it's a good game.
Oh, one thing that was positive that I do want to point out.
Sure.
Second half adjustments in the run game. I felt like I was watching the Cardinals game again, just in reverse. Remember, the Cardinals couldn't do shit on the ground against us in the first half? And the second half, it was like, it's 7 yards a pop. Bro, Mason was a man possessed until we were down by 2 scores and they stopped running the ball.
And then they went away from the run. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I know Kareem Hunt killed us or whatever, but he had 3.5 yards to carry, so it wasn't that bad. Really, where we got beat a lot was not accounting for Noah Gray. That one hurt us, and I think that was
so
where,
focused on Kelsey.
And that was where Zach was talking about the linebackers not playing very well.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I thought the defense played really well up until the point where they got the interception on Mahomes to start the second half, and then Purdy the next play, or the next series, threw it back to him. That's where the defense again, and that's where you're amped. We made a great play, and then you watch your offense like take a shit all over itself all day, and you're just like, fuck again. You know what I mean? So like I understand where that drop off starts to occur, but they were in that game until later on. Like again, when before the 2-point conversion happened, I mean, they were right there. Like the missed extra point, the lack of 2-point conversion. They were right there. With as bad as they played, they were right there. So it is what it is. What happened to Trent? He was on his ass a lot. He's 36 years old, didn't have any training camp, and he's on the decline, which is why he held the team up for money, because he knew it.
How do you feel about Trent today? And I want you to include his play as well as the penalty and all that stuff.
He has an impulse control problem. Like, why are you getting up and swinging on a defensive back? Like, just let that shit go, man. You're already losing the game.
Was already over.
Right. So now you're setting yourself up for a fine. You get too many of these things and it becomes a trend. And then the league might decide, you know what? We don't like this example you're setting. Suspended. And you get a 1-game suspension for being an asshole. And then you're not, he had another holding penalty that like wasn't even involved in the play that was super obvious. And he's just, again, and like he said, ending up on his ass a lot. You have to understand that Trent Williams, while still a good left tackle, is not Trent Williams like he was last year and previously in his career. He is 36 years old. He is clearly in decline.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the 49ers desperately need to address their offensive line. I think you can get one more good to very good year out of Trent Williams beyond this year. So I think they should go with a right tackle with the understanding that you could eventually have him replace Trent the next season. But they have to get a tackle and a high-level tackle. Not this, like, hopefully panning for gold and getting something. They have to get a high-end tackle in the draft this year. They passed on some guys that I thought were actually good that end up being starters for other teams. So
this rookie class is looking to show some worth, though. I will say that.
Yep.
I will say that.
And by the way, they might need to. I don't know I don't know, man. I hate to say Kittle is phasing out too, because like I said Kittle was washed 2 years ago and he's made me look hella stupid. So I will say I don't think that he has quite the dog in him that he used to. Like, I don't think he's 0 to 1,000 anymore like he used to be. I actually don't think that he blocks as well as he used to. But I think that just comes with being 31, 32 and playing like a man possessed. So
the injuries and all that, it's taking a toll on his body for sure.
But to me, and it's a good question, who will replace Kittle? I understand, but to me, addressing tight end is way further down on my list than addressing offensive line.
Yeah, you got a super chat there.
Yeah, super chat from Easy Tino. Thank you so much. Speaking up for Trent, the guy hit him in the helmet while on the ground, standing over him. Exactly what do you want him to do? He's alpha, not beta. I want him to think like a human being, because first of all, he's a human being and he's a part of a team. And again, that's somebody trying to get the go. Like, do you really think that guy was stepping up to Trent Williams like, hey, like I'm a bitch him and like I can fuck him up? No, he knows damn well Trent Williams would squash him like a bug. But this is not the first time that Trent Williams, this is the game plan. Just like Juwan Jennings is really good at getting 15-yard penalties out of guys for being annoying. And the people that fall for it, you're just like, why are you so stupid, man? You know this dude is going to goad you, right? People know if you fuck with Trent, he's going to do something stupid to get himself thrown out. Stop taking drugs. George Kittle was not washed. What game were you watching? I said Kittle was washed 2 years ago because of the injuries and things like that. And he made me look dumb. I just said it.
He followed it up by, he made me look dumb.
Yep. Matt, this loss is because, please enlighten me with your thought. I missed the beginning of the show. Because the team did not play well. Kyle did not coach well. And
Purdy didn't play well.
Purdy didn't play well. The run game didn't play well. The offensive line didn't play well. They lost their top three. They didn't have their top three wide receivers for most of the game.
Was ass.
Special teams was booty butt cheeks, like always. The defense eventually got worn down, and the Chiefs just ground them out. And Spagnuolo has Kyle's number.
It's so crazy to watch this defense when they're well rested against the Chiefs. Pick any game you want to watch. Any of them. Watch the Super Bowl again.
Yep.
Watch this game again. When the defense is the first 4 or 5 drives and fired up, great. Coming out the half, great. But, man, once our offense stalls and they keep the defense on the field the whole fucking time, what do you guys expect?
The choker coach will never take blame for any loss. He said a lot of we today. We went over. If Kyle goes away from the run, and that's been his problem the last 5 years, why argue and say he's changing? Make it make sense. You're a homer, and it shows. The first half, the 49ers did run the ball, and Mason got stuffed multiple times in short yardage. So what do you want him to do? Just keep doing the same thing over and over again?
We were averaging 2.5 by the end of the first half. I
Right.
think
Mason ended up averaging 4.1. 14 carries for 58 yards. And then once you get down by 2 scores in the fourth quarter, you can't really run the ball anymore. Like, what are you supposed to do at that point? So, again, tell me where I'm being a homer and not actually just being objective. Like, you can't just say I'm a homer and then give me nothing that shows that I'm a homer. Because I've said that everybody played bad on the offense. I've said that Kyle called a bad game.
Yeah, I just don't know.
We address play action too, by the way. Mike, do you want to address that again?
I mean, I can tell him again.
Yeah,
you have to have
again.
a solid offensive line in order to use play action, and we don't have that this year, guys. I know everyone's really excited about Dominic Pooney. I know people think that Trent is still Trent, and they think that Aaron Banks is supposed to still be Aaron Banks.
Aaron Banks is dog shit.
He is not the guy, and that's my guy. He's not good this year. Can you guys hear me? Aaron Banks is not playing well this year.
Yeah, the last thing that you want with a bad offensive line is to have Brock Purdy with his back to the line of scrimmage.
Bingo.
That he's going to get fucked up. Like, he barely has enough time to throw the ball when he's facing play, right? My issue actually with the offense right now is that Kyle is doing things that develop too long. The 7-step drops. Like, he needs some quick hitters. You know what I mean? But again, to have that,
but
you have to
teams
have guys
are also
that can
taking away
separate.
the middle of the field.
And you need to have guys that can separate in short yardage, which even Ayuk, I said this last week, I don't even think Ayuk is that guy. So, if the Niners miss the playoffs this year, are you still behind keeping Kyle and paying Brock? I don't think they have a choice to keep Kyle. I would keep him until you have somebody better. But he just signed a 6-year extension last year, so that I don't think York wants to pay him
fully
when
guaranteed.
He's not on the team. And again, who are you going to get better? And again, all York is going to look at is the fact of how many injuries did you have on this team, particularly if Ayuk is done for the season. How many injuries did you have on this team? Like, that was a big part of it. This season is giving a lot of 2020 vibes, to be honest, with like the amount of injuries that the 49ers have had.
For the people who are the sky is falling right now,
yes,
are you guys taking into account Ayuk, Deebo, Jennings, McCaffrey not playing tonight?
Yep.
And Brock having his worst game. Like, Brock having his worst game with all those players is one thing.
Right.
Brock having his worst game without all those players. Like, think of it, was literally Pearsall's first game.
First game.
We literally saw Cowling's first reception.
Yep.
Are we really not taking any of this into account? And on my overreaction show that I did on Nothing But Niners, just a brief one, I said that I wasn't going to hold too much weight into that because the Chiefs were without a lot of their wide receivers also.
Right.
But
Which
there's
digital gig? The Chiefs went into the game without those wide receivers.
Bingo. And they have been using rookies and been using those guys off the street for 3 weeks. This was new. This was all new.
Great one says Purdy had Ayuk, Kittle, and Mason the whole first half and couldn't score. Well, Kittle had a 100-yard game. Mason didn't run the ball well in the first half. Ayuk dropped what could have been 6. Why are you not blaming those players? Why is it all on Purdy? That's my question. Why is it, again, why are we doing this single fact? Why can't it be true that nobody really played well in the offense? Because that's exactly what happened. Nobody really played well in the offense. Isaac, fuck you.
Wait, what?
This is my boy. This is my boy.
I expect apology from your co-host. Oh, that's funny.
He's a huge Bears fan. We're actually going to the Bears game together in December.
All right. I hope you guys have a good time. That's funny, man. No, man, like I said, most of my overreaction shows, I'm screaming. I have long soliloquies ready and all that stuff, especially after a loss, right? But like, I expected this one, guys, and I tried to warn Faithful. Even in my pregame show, I did it all week heading up into it. I did it in our preview show. I tried to tell you guys, don't get your hopes up. Not this week. I tried to tell you guys. No one wanted to listen, and that's why you all are in your feelings right now. You guys wanted this to be your Super Bowl redemption game, and all the players told you, we can win this game by 100. It's not going to put a ring on our fingers. Y'all didn't listen.
Yep.
You guys are the sole reason you feel the way you do right now.
He says 3 interceptions not on Ayuk, Kittle, or Mason. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that Brock Purdy played well.
Oh, no. He played bad. We've said
he played
multiple
bad.
times.
He played bad. Guess what? Everybody played bad. And so
we said this was his worst game.
Listen. Just like everybody liked to argue with Jimmy Garoppolo, quarterback wins is not a thing, which I was on that side. Quarterback wins means nothing because it's a team game. The whole team can fuck up. Everybody can play bad. Everybody did play bad. Okay.
Overtime in the WNBA finals. Sorry. I'm hyped.
How much extra is that going to cost the NBA in money?
What do you mean?
I'm shitting on the WNBA for never turning a profit.
Oh, shut up, man. That's not nice.
$500 million loss in its 27 years of operation, completely subsidized by the NBA.
I mean,
and then they shit on the person that got them chartered flights. But don't get me started on the WNBA.
Well, this game and the ratings for it are pretty high right now. I will say that.
Are they going to make money off
that?
It
starts somewhere.
Sure. Maybe they shouldn't look a gift Caitlin Clark in the mouth when they're no longer flying fucking Spirit Airlines.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So. Also, I'd rather jump ass first into a pencil factory than watch women's basketball. Just saying.
Screw you. I got it on the whole time in the background. Maybe that's why I'm so calm.
Maybe. Listen, I'm a girl dad, but like, I would rather watch the NBA than watch my daughter play college basketball. No, that's over exaggeration. I'm lying.
Wow.
I'm lying.
Somebody
being an
clip that up
right
and
now.
send it to Shorty when she gets older.
I know. No, of course I would rather watch my own daughter, but nobody else's daughter.
Listen,
I do appreciate is like the fundamental X's and O's of women's basketball.
There you go. Yeah.
But the execution of the basketball is god awful.
Yeah.
God awful.
Away from the WNBA and back to football, man.
Yes.
We got to start to wrap this thing up here.
Yes,
I
sir.
do want to say this though, guys. The season is far from over. Be mad, be upset, sleep on it. Go back and watch the game and be even more upset. And look at all the missed opportunities. And then realize that Kyle was playing against the guy who literally wrote the book on how to stop Kyle Shanahan. And then go look at the rest of the schedule and see how many more times we play against him. You'll feel better.
Whoa.
Oh, shit. That's for you.
Is Kyle starting to control Purdy's plays like he did with Jimmy? Jimmy was unstoppable those 5 games with no name wide receivers as well. I think Kyle propped up Jimmy Garoppolo and nobody knew who he was. And when the tape came out on him, they started to figure out more and more. I also don't think that the torn ACL helped because Jimmy was actually more mobile before that ACL. Because he was dog shit with the Raiders too, by the way. Didn't even make it through a full season.
When you got a guy begging to be traded before he gets fucking killed, kind of tells you what you need to know. By the way, Brock threw some hospital balls out there. Oh, my last critique on Brock Purdy, and Matt, I want to answer from you on this.
Sure.
How or when do we train him to stop throwing low passes over the offensive and defensive lines? Like, he literally pegged Pooney in the back of the head today.
Bro, like Brock Purdy's like 5'3", right?
I don't care. He's got to do a better job.
So that's got to be something that Brian Greasy has to work with him on. And maybe maybe in the offseason, Brock can call up somebody that like worked with Drew Brees in New Orleans, because one of the things Drew Brees was really good at was finding throwing lanes between his offensive line. So that's something he definitely does need to work on for sure. No doubt about that. They definitely need to work on that. What was the hospital ball that you were talking about? I hope it's not the Ayuk one because I don't think that was a hospital ball. I think that was a guy coming up and making a play because you have to make a tight window throw.
The ribs?
No, Ayuk's knee.
Oh no, that wasn't the one I'm talking about. I don't think Ayuk.
Jennings last week was a hospital ball for sure. That's why he has the hip injury. Was that slant that was like that Jennings like reached back for and he got hit? That for sure. But I don't.
He's led
ball
George
did he
Kittle
throw
a
this
couple of
game?
times this year. No, maybe not this game. I think you're right.
Okay.
I think you're right. I think I'm looking at the Ayuk injury because he got hit in what I thought was the side, and then I saw the replay and it was his leg. So you're right. I think that's what it was. I think it's all.
Yeah. So like he threw a slant to Ayuk, and Ayuk caught it, but the guy that came up and fucked his knee up was the safety coming down to make a play. There's not really anything Brock can do about that because he put it like right on his chest. That was a guy. And by the way, if you look at the still image of it, which I won't show because his knee is just collapsing.
It's nasty.
Yeah, the safety when he was going to make that hit, his knee actually pinned Ayuk's foot to the ground, and he hit Ayuk with his shoulder in the thigh. So then you have a mechanism of Ayuk's momentum carrying him one way, and instead of like if Ayuk's foot was off the ground and not pinned down, and you get hit in the thigh, then you're not
your whole body
going at a weird angle. Your leg just flies up, and he would have been fine. It just happened to be that unfortunate instance where the defensive back had his knee on Ayuk's foot as he was like hitting him in the thing. So, I would argue that Brock Purdy's arm is stronger after the injury.
UCL, yeah.
Yep. And that's the case with most people that go through UCL.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you spend so much time rehabbing that injury, you actually end up with more. And it's going to be marginal. It's not going to be anything that you're going to notice. Brock Purdy is not going to be a guy that's going to rifle the ball in there like, a Matthew Stafford or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Wait. What was a bad throw? The throw to Ayuk? Absolutely not. Tom Brady would have pulled back what? The throw to Ayuk? Absolutely not. That's not you're not accounting for a safety coming up and making a tackle. He threw the ball on the money right in his face. He made plenty of bad throws. That throw to Ayuk was not a bad throw. So I don't know what that's about. But you're going to see marginal improvement. He's never going to rifle the ball in there like somebody. But some of the best, arm or the best arm talent that we've ever seen are some of the worst fucking quarterbacks. Ryan Leaf had a cannon. He was trash.
Jamarcus
Russell. Do you remember the buzz about Rex Grossman when he was coming out because he threw a ball through the uprights on his knees from the 50? Trash. Yeah, Zach Wilson got drafted second overall over a pro day throw that he made drifting to his left, throwing all the way across the field. Trash.
With nobody near him, by the way. Like,
trash.
Just like, let's see if we can do it.
Jeff George, cannon for an arm. Average at best. Some of the strongest, because when you rely on your physical talent so much, and you got to understand, NFL players, every single NFL player has been the best player on their high school team and probably the best player on their college team or near the top. When you get to the NFL as a quarterback, if you have this cannon for an arm, sometimes you rely too much on that cannon and you don't develop fundamentals. The one thing that we know is Brock Purdy is really good at ball placement, accuracy, except for this game. If you want to say not today, of course not today, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in general, Brock Purdy's ball placement is really, really good. He throws with a lot of anticipation because he knows he has to put the ball where somebody's going to be to make up for the lack of the fact that he can't just rifle the ball there, right? It's going to do two things. One is going to put people in a position to succeed and makes him think about where he's going to throw the ball. And two, if there's miscommunication, it's going to be a turnover. That's just the fact. You know what I mean? Perfect example, Brett Favre. How many crippling interceptions did Brett Favre throw in the playoffs because he relied on his arm?
Yeah, I would like to see Brock get away from that, man. He loves throwing the ball in the double coverage because he just
no. But what I'm saying is Brock doesn't do that nearly as much as like Brett Favre would. Again, this is the NFL. He's going to have to make some tight window throws. Today, he made a lot of throws into double coverage that were really, really bad. Like the pass that got interception in the end zone. Absolutely. McKivshits fucked that up. However, I do think that pass was ill-advised anyway because
take the sack.
The receiver was bracketed, and it was three-man rush. I would have actually liked to see Brock do almost like an undesigned draw play.
Yep.
Just run it right up the
Move
fucking
away
middle.
from it and run it up. Yeah, exactly.
Do I think Brock is progressing or regressing, and why? I think there's slight regression this year just because I feel like he's trying to do too much and because the offense looks so different.
There's 3 things to why it's regression. Matt just named 2 of them. The third one, the league has film on him, guys.
Yep.
The league has film on him. Do you guys know what Parcells' rule was with quarterbacks? How many games?
I think it was 50, right?
Brock's not there yet.
Yeah. It was 50 games. Am I correct?
It was 3 seasons. What's that?
3 seasons. Oh, so
30.
now it would be so
48.
in Parcells' time, 48. So essentially 50.
Yeah. He's not there yet, guys. So, I mean, but they start catching up to you, and that's what we're seeing. Again, It was like, hey, Spagnuolo said, make him play man.
Mm-hmm. And that's what Minnesota did. And that's what most teams have been doing more against the 49ers. And again, that's not only on Brock Purdy, but that's also, you're not only seeing film, and this regression is not just on Brock Purdy. This is also film on the way Kyle Shanahan likes to scheme his offenses. This is also film on Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, that they're, this is the way that they like to do things. This is how they do moves, right? I've seen enough film on Deebo Samuel to know that when the ball's not coming to him, he runs lazy fucking routes.
Doesn't want to block or engage.
Nope.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So all those things being
I will say
considered,
that he worked on that this year,
mm-hmm.
and that's why we saw so many flags, because he's not used to it. I don't know if you remember, like the start of the season.
The holding. Like, he was getting like
a
hold or two every game. Yeah.
Because he was working on his blocking, so he's got to get used to it. These guys are trying, man.
There's blame to go all around. And listen, we're talking about 2 of the 49ers' 4 losses this season. The 2 that I actually think were more the other team than the 49ers fucking themselves up. The Arizona and Rams losses, I thought the 49ers shot themselves in the foot. But the Minnesota and the Kansas City loss, specifically against the 49ers offense, these are 2 very, very good defensive coordinators that know how to scheme defenses. And particularly for Brian Flores, who I want to shout out, he has made CJ Stroud look bad. Literally, the only quarterback who made Brian Flores look bad this year was Jared Goff today.
Right. Yeah.
Besides that, Brian Flores has run a tight ship over there. Steve Spagnuolo, we already know, is fantastic. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl the last 2 years with Spags on the defensive coordinator position,
not their offensive prowess.
Right. Yep. So, I think that you have to give due sometimes. As much as we want to blame people on the 49ers, it's a combination of the 49ers played bad today, and Steve Spagnuolo is a really good defensive coordinator, and the Chiefs have an outstanding defense.
Bingo.
And that's what it is. So it can be a lot of those things.
And the officials.
Yeah, that too. I felt like they were like messing with us, man. I feel like they were messing with us. Stroud's going to be a beast. I think he's going through a little bit of a sophomore slump for sure.
Sophomore slump for sure. But the kid's got it mentally, so I think he can overcome it. Give him another 2 seasons before we.
And they've been dealing with some wide receiver injuries too.
A lot.
Nico Collins not being there is a huge thing.
Tank Dell still didn't get a reception today without Nico and without damn, there's another one. But the fact that he still just can't get, like, I'm dropping him from all fantasy.
I think Stephon Diggs played today though.
Yeah, Diggs was there.
But again, and you're talking about I think that was that Houston's 2nd loss of the season?
Yeah.
So they're still really good, but again, give the 49ers time to get right, because as we saw, remember, if you need help, guys, look to last season. The 49ers played the Philadelphia Eagles in week, 13?
Mm-hmm.
And the Eagles completely fell apart after that. They were 10-1 to that point in the season. 10-1 when they played the 49ers. They barely crept into the playoffs and then lost their first playoff game.
Yep. Finished 11-6 and lost to the Bucs, right?
So why can't the trend, if the 49ers end up with, people coming back and can figure things out, why can't it be the opposite? And I'm not saying, I'm of the opinion, I'm at the point now where I think the 49ers are a playoff team, not a Super Bowl team, until they prove otherwise. And I'm fine with that. That's where I'm at right now. That's my expectation for the season. Super Bowl, it takes a lot of pressure off me not to think that they're not going to make the Super Bowl. I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to be able to more objectively look at the team, just because I'm not going to transpose my expectations to them like a lot of everybody, everybody's doing. So I think that the team can be okay. I do think that the Dallas game is a must win. You can't be losing to a dog shit team like the Cowboys. So if you can go into the bye week 4-4, and according to multiple reports, Christian McCaffrey should be back after the bye week. If he is and is healthy, they're going to use him. I know somebody earlier was like, I think it was Will Chrissy said, if they use Christian McCaffrey, bro, they gave him the ball like 400 times last year. They're going to use his ass. Like, they're going to wear his ass out. They're going to test those Achilles and see if that PRP shit really works.
And the good thing is this. Mason is proven, like, hey, for run plays, you can put me in. You can trust me.
Yeah.
And he had 3 really good blitz pickups today. I was really proud of Mason out there today in blitz pickup. So,
by the way, one good thing that I want to say about Brock Purdy. Did you see when he dropped back, and I think it was in the second quarter of the game, might have been the third. Did you see when Brock Purdy dropped back, saw under pressure, Mason was open in the flat. Mason raised his arm in the air, and Brock Purdy threw it right to him. No problem.
Took the check down.
That's a check down. And the fact that he was willing to give it to Jordan Mason. And now, remember how Carolina would use Christian McCaffrey too. If you want to, Brock Purdy's a system quarterback. So is Patrick Mahomes, bitch.
Every quarterback
is a system quarterback.
System quarterback, guys.
Literally everyone.
Even Tom Brady, who went somewhere from the Patriots and brought the
system quarterback. By the way, can I say, if you're not a system quarterback, that's how you end up out of the league.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Or a clipboard holder.
Yeah, exactly. And then guess what? You develop your own system, and then you become a coach. No, I will say that I do think that the 49ers have opportunity. And if you look at how Carolina used Christian McCaffrey, if the worst is true and Brandon Ayuk's going to miss the season, you can have Jordan. You can run 2-back sets with CMC and then motion CMC out as a wide receiver. And you can do the same with Deebo Samuel. And then you still have Jordan Mason back there. So you don't necessarily have to have CMC and Jordan Mason never on the field together. You can do that. And then you add another dynamic playmaker to the game. So there are opportunities there. I also liked the fact, I know, Mike, you're going to go back and look at the tape from what I saw, and I will look too. I thought that Pearsall did a very good job for his first NFL game action. And the more reps he gets, the better I think he's going to do. And the fact of the matter is, when Brock Purdy threw him a catchable ball, he caught the ball. And that's the most that you can hope. There were a couple times where like he threw it late, or threw it before, Pearsall was out of the break, or he missed him when he was open. But specifically, I think, was it the 2-point conversion? I think it was a 2-point conversion where Brock that wasn't a catchable ball for Pearsall.
Mm-hmm.
So again, there are opportunities to be had there.
Chiefs fans, I see you out there, man. Own it, guys.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I said it on the previous show. Again, until you slay the beast, you're never going to get over the mountaintop. And the 49ers have to slay the Kansas. Yep. They have to beat the Kansas City Chiefs to know that they can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why we knew that this wasn't going to be a game.
Right.
I knew. Let me speak for myself. That's why I picked the Chiefs to win this game, guys. Doesn't happen often. Doesn't happen often at all.
Hey, Mike, are you going to pick the Cowboys to beat the Niners next week?
Fuck no.
There we go. Yeah, so listen, again, we're realistic, right? Pretty overrated. Better stats than Mahomes. So I'm not going to let this shit go, overrated compared to what? You know what I mean? What is overrated? Yeah,
because that's in context, right? I think Chris Kosaric, the defensive line coach, is overrated, but I think he's a good defensive line coach.
Right.
When you look at him compared to the rest of the NFL.
Right. Yes.
But I think he's overrated because he's heralded as the best. And I don't think he's that.
I don't think anybody nationally heralds Purdy as the best. And even the people that do herald Purdy as the best are, it's a lot of homerism. I certainly don't think Purdy's the best quarterback in the NFL. I've never said that. And he definitely has his flaws.
And so even saying overrated comes with context, guys.
Look at the media saying he's a system quarterback. Everybody's a system quarterback, like we said.
Right.
Everybody. I know you say he's underrated. Again, you're a fan. I think he's rated. I think his play dictates how he's rated, and that's how it should be. But people who have the agenda, you can see it, and it's clear as day. Nick Wright will never give Brock Purdy his due. David Lombardi will give Purdy too much due. Like, that's just the way that it is.
It's funny. If you get outside of the people with the clear agendas, everybody looks at Purdy for exactly who he is. It's like, psh, I didn't think this guy was the truth, but when you look at the numbers and you look at his play, you can't deny it anymore. How many times did we hear that during the MVP candidate stuff? Like, it was like, I didn't want to give him his props, but look at what he's doing. How do we take it away from him?
Yep. Pretty much. All right, Mike.
Anything else, man?
Anything else to say for today? Nothing else?
Make sure you guys are subscribed to the 49ers Hive channel, and then head on over to our Patreon. We have Nothing But Niners. It's patreon.com/NB9ERS.
Promote that Instagram too, buddy. It's on the screen.
Oh, shit. That's right. Instagram. Nothing But 9ERS.
All right. Chat pack time. Just kidding. We don't have one. Hit like and hit subscribe. It was a tough one today. Mike, thank you so much for joining me. Zach was here earlier. He had to go, but it was a tough loss today. And again, it's 1 week in the NFL, on to the next. Hopefully you guys will be here with us next week. We're going to have a preview show coming in the middle of the week. It's Dallas week. All things will be fixed as long as we beat those bitch ass Cowboys. Jerry Jones likes meat, and that's horrible, but it is what it is. So he's going to get all 8.5 inches of the 49ers next week. So I hope he's ready. I had to do it. Thank you so much, everybody, for I know I had to. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here tonight. It's wonderful to have you guys here, for sure.
Absolutely.
We love talking football. And again, like we said earlier, debate is fantastic. We love having debate, nothing personal. Even if I say you have a stupid take, I don't know you as a person, doesn't mean you're a stupid person, just means your football take sucks. And mine could too, to you. That's fine. I will always try to debate as factually as I can. I've never been one that is like too high or too low. That's not how I get down. I try to be as objective as possible. So hopefully, he said, damn, bro, at least 9. I mean, balls deep, baby. Listen, we love having you guys here. It's amazing. We get to have fun, talk football, and you guys are all a part of that. And I want to thank you guys. So, Mike, thank you for joining us here tonight. Thank everybody out there for joining us here. We love having you here as always. And until next time, go Niners.